conspiring against state security.
Activists and lawyers criticize the trial as politically motivated.
South Korea and Poland have signed a cooperation agreement in Warsaw, strengthening ties in politics, economy, defense, and culture through 2028, Joseph Eckerson reporting.
This pact aims to enhance trans-regional security, engaging both Europe and the Indo-Pacific.
The United States is engaging in direct talks with Hamas amid ongoing efforts to maintain a ceasefire in Gaza, Lawrence Keller reports.
Israel has halted the entry of essential supplies to pressure Hamas into accepting alternative ceasefire arrangements.
Storms have caused significant disruptions across the United States, with tornado warnings issued in the Carolinas, Florida, and Virginia.
These storms have resulted in 3 fatalities in Mississippi and damaged buildings in Oklahoma.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as statement of fact. Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
Can't go on. What's going on over there? We don't care.
Damn good coffee and hot.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
No.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Wake up, America.
No.
You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with the Dog. You make me laugh.
Oh. Oh, this thing's probably going to lose. I'll just turn it off manually. Don't even trust it. They say don't trust anything. Oh, it went off by itself. I didn't even have to do that. Good morning. Welcome to the world of transgender mice, iron domes that are literally iron domes, and emperors who are naked. Here's the thing. Not one person in the Republican Party has the balls, spine, whatever you want to call it, to say, yeah, boss, transgenic is not transgender. I know it makes you feel stupid for me to tell you that, but don't say that. Either that or some idiot, Stephen Miller, doesn't know the difference and wrote that into the speech and he's just reading off a teleprompter. Either way, we're in a pathetically stupid time. People don't remember the emperor has no clothes or the emperor naked or whatever the hell you want to call that. But you got to be willing to step up and say, you don't know what you're talking about. Trump still believes, and I'm certain that this is true, he believes an iron dome is a literal iron dome. And how we might actually build that, I guess Mexico is going to pay for it. And how we might be able to survive under an iron dome. Yeah, sure, it might stop missiles, but it will also stop like air. Why do you want to go on? But it is Friday. You should be happy it's Friday because you work. If you work, you should be happy it's Friday. If you're like me and you're just doing this, wondering why the fuck am I doing this? Friday is just another day for you to say, why the fuck am I doing this? Now, yesterday at this time, or slightly after this time, obviously I wasn't here yesterday, and I hope the guys had a good show. I didn't watch. Well, like you. Why would I watch? If I'm not here, I'm not watching. And I understand that. Nobody watches this show. Nobody cares. I hope they had a good show. But right after the show, I got a notice from my internet company that they were going to be working on the internet today, and I wasn't going to be able to do a show today, so I should schedule a rerun. So I told one of the guests we should reschedule for Monday. So hour 2, we have D.H. Morris, who is the author of a book called, well, it's not called The Founding of Europe, is it? The Girl of Many Crowns is the name of the book. It's about the founding of Europe. She apparently is a direct descendant of Queen Judith of Belgium. Yeah, okay. That will be in hour 2. Are you excited? That's not comedy, folks. It's not music. It's not comedy. It's not dancing girls. It's not a titty bar. This is not a titty bar. If you came to a titty bar, if you thought you were coming to a titty bar, Friday morning, what the hell are you going to a titty bar for? Anyway, that's the show we got for you. I just don't know. I don't want to carry on. I just want to lay down and have them throw dirt on me. I don't necessarily want to die. I just want to lay down and dying wouldn't suck. You know what? It wouldn't suck. Anyway, in the meantime, here's what I really want to do today. I want to get high. That's what I've been thinking about. I didn't sleep well, but all night long I'm thinking, after the show, I'm going to get fucking blown out. I'm going to get so fucking high. And then maybe I'll do something fun while it's still springtime. Yesterday, I went and did a show in southwestern Nassau County. And it was like May. It was beautiful. Sun was shining. The wind wasn't blowing. It was just a perfect weather down there. I come back here, fucking winter. It's still February. So, yeah, that's what it is. I'm hoping that it will get nice out today. I can go out, lay out with the chickens and the turkeys, smoke a big fat blunt, and then maybe play some guitar or something, maybe paint, something like that. And then life won't suck so much. But in the meantime, you should plan on how and why you could get high daily.
With humble East Coast beginnings in 2015, Daily High Club is the premier destination for glass water pipes, vaporizers, and consumption accessories. If you're looking to elevate your smoking game to the next level, you're in the right place. With over 1 million top-quality smoking products sold, and with a growing base of over 10,000 monthly subscribers worldwide, we deliver the ultimate smoking experience. But Daily High Club is not just a retailer, we're lovers of the smoking scene ourselves, working with giants like Tommy Chong, Snoop Dogg, Chanel West Coast, and more. Ready to join the Daily High Club? Let our experts curate your collection with our awesome El Primo monthly subscription box, or grab one of our fun and unique pieces from our smoke shop. Click the link in the description below this video to get this party started now.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the room with me what the hell is wrong with your mic?
With my mic?
Yeah, your mic.
What do you mean?
What do I mean? It's like Baba Zaboom. That's what it's like. Like Baba Zaboom. Here. It's like Baba Zaboom. Look at I'm switching everybody around. I guess it would help to use the C thing, and I wouldn't have to switch people around. Yeah, your mic was like Baba Zaboom, and it's still Baba Zaboom. And what are you Baba Zaboom? Anyway,
I don't know what you mean by that. Is it loud? Quiet?
Yes, it was very loud. Now it's still loud, but it's not as Baba Zaboom as it was Baba Zaboom when you first Baba. I'm not talking right. I'm not thinking right. In the room with me now are Stephen Bosley Boom Boom, Ron, who is in and out like a penis in a vagina, and what's the other guy? What's the other guy? Some black guy. Good morning.
GD Fender daughter.
Good morning, America. MindDogTV.com. Welcome to Coffee with the Dog Classified section. The Carolingian dynasty has an opening for a noble member of the family. Must be willing to relocate to the 9th century Western Europe. Also for sale, a hot tub time machine, only used in 2 movies. Comes with DNA samples. MindDogTV.com. Enjoy the suffering and support your local mercenaries.
That thing that you read there, was that from the book that I didn't read? Maybe I should have read the
Hot Tub Time Machine. Yeah, you should have read that book. It was a New York Times bestseller.
I don't read bestsellers. I don't even read worst sellers.
Well, I wanted to make an announcement this morning to let you guys know that
you're pregnant again.
Mike was all set up for the booba da boom. For your big announcement.
I turned the volume down. I don't know why it's still so loud. Hold on.
Go ahead, bobbity boom me.
Okay. So I accepted a job position yesterday.
Oh, hey, yeah, very good. All right, moving on.
And, yes, I won't be here nearly as much, but I will still be here occasionally.
Wow.
What's an occasion? You mean like holidays?
Days off. Days I go in later. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think we'll miss you, depending on our aim. But good. I think that's good for you, right? You'll still be doing your little fake conspiracy thing where you.
Beyond Classified will still be good, yes. And then I will be here on mornings that like I said, go in later.
You say good or gay? Gay or good? Good. Gay, good.
I think he said gay in a good way.
Gay, good.
I mean, sure. I mean, gay means happy also, so.
How will you escape the Iron Dome?
I don't know where you're getting your information, but in the state,
from you.
In his address to the joint Congress, he called it a golden dome.
Golden Dome. Well, I think he was
now the problem is gold is a very soft metal. Right. So if you have a golden dome, that shit, yes, it will conduct electricity.
You say gold is a very soft metal, but if I hit you with a brick of gold in the head, you would feel it.
That's because it's not pure gold. And I didn't say I wouldn't feel it, and I didn't say it wasn't.
But if it was a pure gold brick, and I smacked you in the head with it, you'd be fine. That's a very soft metal.
I'd also keep it, yeah. So yeah, it would be fine because I'd keep it.
I didn't say I'd throw it at you. I said smack you in the head with it.
I still keep it. You're a weak old man. You can't hold. How tight can your grip be?
Well, if
you're barely gripping, you're barely gripping onto reality. How tight can you hold a gold brick?
So you don't think I could knock you out with a brick if I hit you?
Well, Mama say knock you out.
Right. Mama did say knock you out.
Yeah, Mama said knock you out.
Mama said knock you out.
That's right.
No, where was that from?
Mama, weren't you listening? We just told you Mama said it. We just told you Mama said it. Why would you ask?
I know it's from Mama, but what song was it
retard
from?
Or something?
I don't remember. It's 80s, right? No. 80s?
It's LL Cool J. Mama said knock you out.
All right, there you go. Thank you, Ron.
See, even Ron knew that.
Awesome.
Even Ron knew that. Ron was listening. He knew Mama said that.
Ron probably slept. He probably got a blowjob from his wife and then snored. I did
Lucky?
not. Yeah.
Asleep.
That's why his brain is still working right now. Mine is not. Mine is still trying to figure out how I could get some sleep while still being on the air.
Well, the point being that a golden dome would be relatively soft compared to iron.
You sure he wasn't talking about like an iron dome that got pissed on?
I'm surprised he's not calling it Trump Dome.
Oh, that's the actual naming of it. That's not the structure. It's like saying I'm building a hotel, and once you build a hotel, you call it Stevens Hotel.
Don't put my name in this.
There's not going to be a dome. Let's just be clear.
No. There'll be a doom. I think he misspelled doom or mispronounced doom.
Well, he is a doom ass. So,
yeah. Well, I think it's just hope because everything else is all screwed up, and so everything else keeps getting fucked up. So he's just got to lob things out there. It's like maybe this will work.
Yeah.
Well, also maybe somebody forgot the space, and it's not an iron dome; it's an iron doomy. He just forgot to put the space in there.
But so yeah, to Ron's point, he's just what can I say to distract them and make them fucking freak out today? Because we don't want them to actually look at how we're really fucking everything up, chopping down forests and all that. But You would think somebody who works for him would say, boss, they're not transgender mice. You can't go out there and say you're going to look stupid, and everybody's going to point out how stupid you are. But nobody has the balls to say, hey, that's not what that word means. Nobody has the balls to say that. You guys would tell me in a Mississippi. What do you know? I can't.
Oh, I'd tell Trump to his fat, ugly face too.
But even if you told him though, he probably wouldn't stop saying it. He would transition to it, like he would say like transgenic or transgender. I've heard it both ways, and then
get out of
doesn't matter how you say it. God hates it.
So if you take a human gene and put it into a mouse, all of a sudden that mouse will have human qualities, and then humans just are all transgender anyway. Everybody trans. Everybody gets a free trans operation.
Maybe Trump was just mad because he wanted to put the DNA in the mouses himself, and they were like, "Mr. Trump, you can't fuck mice."
He did say mouses.
Hey, listen, I also
think you're
slept.
onto something, Stephen, and it's probably very dangerous hallucinogen, and you should probably stay off it.
Listen, Trump's fucking mice. He's fucking the mouses.
I have some other sad news. This is just something I found this morning. I thought it'd be fun to talk about.
I have sad news with that. I thought would be fun to talk.
It'd be fun to talk about. You fucking sadist.
Sad news. So this is from Tennessee, and this is a McDonald's play place. It's two screens and a couple of chairs.
What the fuck? That is sad. That's not a play place. That's a waiting room for a psychiatrist office. That's horrible.
That's pretty right.
Yeah. And look,
that's horrible.
I'm thinking about killing myself, but I can get some hamburgers while I
said, but look, there's a huge menu on the wall.
No, it's not. That's a backwards advertisement because they have you looking out the window at a drive-through because you're not playing.
Now they're advertising gummies to the kid. Yeah, go get yourself some gummies.
Now I understand that like some wimpy parents would be like, I don't want to put my kid in a play area because it's dirty and things like that. But screw you. A play place should be like a fucking playground for kids. Not
listen. Dirty play places.
Ron, to piggyback on what you didn't say, but you were probably not thinking. These kids are probably the kids of anti-vaxxers, so they would want to be in the pit because they want to catch the diseases because they want to build up their herd immunity. So
I don't even know if it's that convoluted and complicated. I just think that play places were gross, and that's where all of us kids got most of our strength from was dealing with gross ass
think the anti-vaxxers would want that.
Allow me to shoot GD down.
No, I said you would think the anti-vaxxers would want that. That's what I said.
Yeah, but nobody in Tennessee is capable of stringing three thoughts together in a row like that. They're only one thought at a time. It's the Tennessee rule. So we're talking about Tennessee. Remember that.
To me, just seeing it's just sad and just another representation of I think it's between like someone saying a lot of germs or McDonald's saying, oh, we don't want the liability of this in this restaurant.
Now they have the touch. Apparently, those are like touch screens. I don't see any Purell, so they're still going to get germs. It's just off the fingertips, and you don't know where those fingertips have been. They're children.
Oh, they've been everywhere if they're children.
Now, I think, and Ron, I think this is a bad angle because shouldn't it be like one more chair of an adult watching the children from the corner?
No. The parent is often behind the picture of our phone.
The parent is hoping that their kid gets kidnapped. They're off like, so I hope somebody takes that fucking burden and just runs with it. That's the Tennessee mindset. So maybe you should visit Tennessee and then no, you'll never come back.
I've visited Tennessee. Not in the post-Trump era.
How did you get the rope off your neck?
No, see, here's the tricky part. You see, when you go through Tennessee, I drove and had a white person in the back of the car.
Oh. So they thought it was
I had two white people in the back of the car.
Oh, hostages.
Well, they thought I was the chauffeur. And as long as I was driving under the speed limit, chauffeurs are good.
How did the Tallahatchie Bridge go yesterday? Was it all right? Was it fun? Was it good for you?
Who crossed the Tallahatchie Bridge?
Billy Joe Gillespie.
Oh,
jumped off the Tallahatchie Bridge.
She was fine. She's pretty much stuck around till what, 11 o'clock, 11:15.
And
she stuck around through showbiz news.
Was it good laughs? Was it good? I mean, or was it because I know she's very political, right? What was it? Yucks.
Yeah, she is political. She, with a little egging, she did talk a little bit about the protest she's attending on Saturday.
Oh, okay. Did you clarify, because she thinks she'd been here before yesterday? Was she ever here before yesterday? Because I don't remember ever hosting her, and I just assumed
she had been here before, because I remember seeing seeing her on here before, and I don't know if I was that was early on the show when I joined, but I remember having a conversation with her before.
This is bad. This is bad when I don't remember guests. That I have no.
I don't remember her. I didn't remember her at all. Yeah. Not even. Well, I wasn't here yesterday, but I did watch. The Reverend had definitely never met her.
We probably, you and I probably are ready for the same nursing home, the same dementia medicine, because
I have dementia medicine. It's called it's Carbon 60.
Do we need the music?
Welcome to Boomer Corner, the only corner that you can get stuck in.
Down on Woodcliff Avenue. Yeah.
Well, and I am, just to let everyone know, I remix the Boomer Corner, and maybe Bears and Otters is coming.
Oh,
cool. Now, would this be a hip hop version, or is this going to be more like a?
We'll
just wait. We'll wait.
Job at Ace Hardware. Is this what?
No, we'll let you. We'll wait. You do you. You be an artist. We'll wait.
Steven, the place you're working, is it Ace Hardware? Is
no.
That where you get? No.
Nope. I'm selling phones again.
Selling phones
on the corner. Are these phones that you like? Are these phones that fell off a truck?
No. There's an AT&T store in this one town that's close to me, and they never have fucking customers. The store is like in this like strip mall that's kind of like broken up, and the AT&T store is at the one corner of the parking lot. And I've been in there like twice to get a phone, and every time I've gone in there, it's empty, completely empty. And when you walk in, the people that are working there are so glad to see you. Like, oh, thank God.
Can I wash your car? Can I wash your car while you're here? You need an oil change?
I was
go ahead. Talk.
Oh, I was gonna say I'll be selling all the major carriers.
You mean like typhoid, chlamydia?
No. I do know people who carry those. No, I will be like AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile.
Rats with fleas.
Yeah.
But it's a management position.
That's what I call schlong division.
The market is pretty small, right? Everybody on the planet, 8 billion people already have phones, right? So you're basically selling to newborns as they get born.
People upgrade and phones break and people do stupid shit.
I did this for 12 years, and the trick to it, well, one, they're putting me in a management position, so I just have to make sure other people sell. But two, it's just
position. That means on top with from behind.
Yeah. Either way, but no, it's just a matter of you just have to be a really good salesman. You have to convince people that what they have isn't the latest and greatest, and they need better.
You can't
it's not the latest or greatest as soon as they buy it. As soon as they buy it, it's no longer the latest or greatest.
Correct. That is why cell phone stores stay in business, because people that love the technology want to be up to date with the latest and greatest. Like, generally speaking, I can get somebody to come in that pays their bill, and I can talk them into leaving with a new phone, a tablet, and a smartwatch.
Then you've not had me go into your store.
You've never bought from somebody like me, so
no, I've had people better than you, and I say that because
I don't know if you've had better than me.
Look, yeah, because they sit there and
I would take my dick out and slap you in the
inside
mouth. Get the fuck away from me, you dopey salesperson. That's what I would say.
Oh no, man! Listen,
No, I win. I just won.
I spent 12 years in wireless and I thrived. I thrived in it because I'm a people person. I'm a salesman.
Indiana. That's in Indiana.
Exactly.
They have a low standard of what people are.
Actually, I'll be in Michigan.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you'll be transporting illegal phones across state lines.
No, I'll be going to the dispensary and bringing weed across state lines. That's for sure.
That's why you got the job in Michigan. Okay. Now everything makes sense.
It's right across.
Before, nothing was making sense. Now it all makes sense.
I can leave work. I can leave
spend
work.
your paycheck before you get home. That's what you'll be doing.
Well, here's the thing. I'll be in a Walmart. So I leave there. There's the dispensary across the street. There's a liquor store right there. Yeah, it's a one-stop shop. I can just on the way home.
You traitor. You're working for the Walmart. That is our biggest. That is the.
No, not for Walmart.
No,
in Walmart.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, they steal most of our customers from minddogtv.com merchandise. Most of our customers are being stolen by those.
I think they were Target shoppers.
I don't know if this is absolutely true, but I have a suspicion that nobody who ever walks into a Walmart has more than $20 to their name. So,
yeah,
I worked for
Walmart
this company.
Is full of people who use other people's names.
I worked in this company 4 years ago, and I made on average about $3,000 a month in commission, selling about 40 phones a month.
In Walmart?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wait, and when was that?
They can't afford regular clothes, but they can afford a phone. You
got to remember, you're not when you buy a phone, you're not forking out $1,000 up front for a phone. You're paying that phone off over the course of 24 to 36 months.
Yeah, they're basically like cars now.
Yeah. So but go in, you might only go in and only spend $100 and walk out with $2,000 worth of phones.
$100 is enough for underwear or pants.
You could buy a power cord for a computer.
Wait, Steven, when was the last time you sold phones and stuff?
3 years ago is when I stopped selling phones completely, but I worked for this company 4 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the biggest issue that you will face, Steven, is that because people keep their phones longer now, and especially the economy is not helping that either. So that's probably
I'll tell you, I managed to sell phones and be successful through the pandemic, and I also did it through the recession we had. So I was able to do both. So
recession you had, black people were immune because we didn't have anything to begin with.
What are you talking about? Black people's half-life demographics. It's Walmart.
There is I'm not sure if you guys heard, but there is an actress by the name of Pamela Bach.
She died.
Yeah, she killed herself.
David
Hasselhoff's former ex-wife.
Oh, I read.
Well, not former ex-wife. She still is ex-wife, right? Well, late ex-wife.
Yeah.
But I didn't read that she killed herself. It just said she died at 62, and I was like, well, 62 is pretty young to just die of natural causes.
Well, they said suicide, so I'm assuming she killed herself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we know how? Was it what method of?
No, it just says she was found at her home in the Hollywood Hills on Wednesday, March 5th.
Is it because she's embarrassed by David Hasselhoff? I'm embarrassed to be married to that hamburger eating drunk on the floor.
Well, they're not together. They weren't together.
Yeah, they filed for divorce in 2006.
Oh, okay.
They were a former couple who had a contentious split, with Bach accusing him of domestic abuse.
Wow.
And I don't know if any of that's true, but it could track because that was during the days when wasn't a Hasselhoff drinking a lot, and that video,
the hamburger video and all that.
Yeah. Oof, I'm saying.
And she also used to be on Baywatch.
She was on Baywatch. She was on Cheers.
That's Shelley Long.
She was on Knight Rider. She met David Hasselhoff on Knight Rider.
Wow.
And then she was on David.
Rest in peace, lady. Rest in peace.
Then she was on David Hasselhoff after that.
She was on Hasselhoff. That is true.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh no, he was drunk a lot. He was probably on her.
The truth is, I'm right about all of it, and you know it.
I was right about all of it. You know it.
You know it.
You know it.
You know
I got a fancy job interview today for a job I don't think I really want to.
So you're gonna put on your good T-shirt. You're gonna put on your good T-shirt.
I'm just wearing jeans and a polo shirt.
That's what I wore to my interviews. I do have one more interview today though for an actual AT&T store as well. So we'll see.
Wow. Okay. You really love your little phone world, don't you? You just,
I don't, but I have 12 years of experience in management in it, and I put my resume out there, and they all came out of the woodworks and called me. So they came after me. So
when you apply for a job in a sex shop and you tell them you have 12 years experience, they look down on you for that for some reason.
They do. I applied to one in Michigan, and they were like, well, do you have any experience with products like this? And I was like, 12 to 15. I mean, and they were like, what? I was like, never mind.
Wait a minute. You didn't. Do you have any experience with products like this in a sex shop? And you didn't say, I know Ron Kane and G.D. Fenderson.
I don't like to name drop. I didn't want them to geek out and be like, oh my God.
You know your way around a dildo is all I'm saying.
I do, but not because of Ron and GD.
You shouldn't say G.D. Fenderson. You should say the Dr. Reverend Jelly Ball. Yeah.
But I did much more.
Yeah,
I did want to get a job in excitement video. I think that would be fun during the day.
Yeah, when it comes to dildo cred, that would be the Reverend has much more dildo cred than I do.
But let me just say, I beg to differ. Right, I'm not really begging. I'm just differing. That we've seen you pull out shelves full of blow-up dolls and dildos and all that kind of stuff on this program.
Yeah, so just imagine what those things are like in the hands of somebody who does know how to use them, like the Reverend.
I'm just saying that the sex shop people ought to know your name, because I'm just assuming, maybe I shouldn't assume, that you bought those yourself.
If I'm not vaping, I'm raping.
To answer Slabtail, yes. Because
he was 12 years a slave. Yes, he was.
No, I have 12 years experience with the toys. Because I'm adventurous in the bedroom. I like, if a woman wants to bring in toys, let's bring in toys. I'll bring in Hot Wheels.
If you have that knowledge in today's sex shop world, that would be valuable. Because like an excitement video, if you got a question about a toy, you can ask the person behind the counter and they'll come out and they'll talk to you about it and tell you everything about it.
I know. I was asking about the sex Duplo box. And she says, well, let me show you how to use the sex Duplo box. And she came out and demonstrated.
Yeah. Well, I ended up not wanting the job at this particular sex shop because they had both a theater and private viewing booths. And I did not feel like being the guy that has to go clean up jizz afterwards. So,
that's not a modern sex shop. That's still just a dumping ground, literally.
The first time I had Tommy Chong on the program, we had a sponsor, Tiffany Yelton. I don't remember exactly the name of her company, but she had offered a Mind Dog butt plug. Had my picture, so you could shove my face up your ass. Which, who doesn't want to do that? But I asked Tommy if he would like a Mind Dog butt plug, complimentary Mind Dog butt plug, and then he went into this whole thing about he doesn't have a butthole to stick it in since his cancer thing. He's got a bag now. I think they sewed up
so he can just pop it in his colostomy hole.
I don't want my butt plug going in a colostomy bag. That's dirty. That's dirty.
Bad business.
There is like when I go to Williamsport, Route 15. When you take that, it's a fairly major route. There's a lot of truck traffic on there as well, a lot of travelers. But there's sex shops everywhere lined up along that route, and not just like toys and stuff. Like there's this one place that's always packed because they have theaters, as they like to call them, the little video booths. And every time you pass that place, no matter what time of day, there are always people there.
Oof! I would hate to be the janitor at that place.
Yeah,
well, he could get paid top dollar. He could get paid top. And also, if you're a janitor and that's your kink, you're in heaven.
Yeah, that's got to be your kink, absolutely. But if you're a normal person and that's not your kink, there can't be enough money.
So if you're a janitor and that's your, I'm sorry, Ron.
I was gonna say, in the movie Bruce Almighty, didn't Morgan Freeman say some of the happiest people are the ones that get the dirtiest during the day?
Oof.
I think he was talking about sex.
I think I would just the smell of cum would make me pass out because in a place like that, because they're jizzing on the walls.
It shouldn't really smell unless you're sick, right?
I'm gonna guess that place spends a lot of money in Windex. You can't get the cheap shit.
Oh, dude, I don't know, but I was like, I'll work in a sex shop, but then when they told me they have a viewing area and a theater, I'm like, I'm not cleaning up after a bunch of dudes suck each other off in this theater. I'm good on that.
What if you were sitting sitting down for the interview and the guy slides a putty scraper across the desk? Here you go.
For $14 an hour, you go fuck yourself. No, thank you.
You're gonna need this, son.
Putty scraper. Why is it hard? I never.
Ron,
left it around long enough.
Ron, I would say, I see your putty scraper, and I'll raise you fingernails.
Usually, if you just spit on it, it'll come right up.
Cum balls.
I think of Lionel Richie song, "Jizzing on the Ceiling." Is that Lionel Richie?
It was a Lionel Richie song.
Rise up.
But in all fairness, and this is what people don't know, is that he actually was not jizzing on the ceiling. They rotated the room upside downwards with the camera.
He was jizzing on the floor.
He was jizzing on the floor, and it just looked like the ceiling.
All right.
Well, see, a lot of people don't. A lot of that stuff is left out. You have to watch VHS.
You say in all fairness, but I think that I was giving him some credit for being able to shoot it on the ceiling. Now,
yeah, but what it is you had a bunch of black guys almost killing themselves trying to duplicate that, because you know how they watch the videos on MTV, they see somebody black dancing, and then they try to do it. There were a lot of black men just.
I don't like the idea of shooting it on the ceiling or anything. That just sounds like a lot of extra.
That's what I'm saying. That's why there was a lot of black divorces and breakups during that time period.
I mean, that makes sense.
Did the rest of the Commodores hate Lionel Richie when that single dropped? Damn,
probably.
They were probably like, "Fuck you, Lionel."
Well, there's nothing grosser than when you shoot off a load and it lands on your body anyway. But imagine getting it on like your ceiling and the walls and the windows.
There's worse. You can put it in someone's mouth and they put it back in yours.
No, that's a kink. That first of all, that's called cum swapping. That's a thing. There's a whole category.
It's not swapping. It's yours.
No, it's called snowball. It's called a snowball, actually.
Is it? Oh, my bad. My bad.
I think we have our technical expert.
Listen, I'm glad we have the expert to refer to, because I'm embarrassed and I got cum swapping mixed up for snowballing. That's my bad.
Okay, just in case you guys haven't noticed, since we started this train of thought, we lost half the viewers that we had.
Well, also consider that our guest is a descendant of royalty, and I think we've done our fair share to scare her way off this program.
Yeah, but
my questions would have scared her off anyway.
Yeah, and besides that,
about more incest. That's all you have to do is talk about more incest.
That's exactly why I would have scared her away. I would have been like, so you're descendant of royalty. So how many generations inbred are you, in fact?
And see, now my question is, because we're talking about royalty, the only way you know that you're a descendant of royalty is through DNA. So we're actually keeping the topic on track by discussing different methods and modalities of exchanging DNA.
Wow.
Now, a side note, hey GD, do you remember the band Zodiac Mind Warp?
What the fuck is that?
Because you were making all those old references. If you want a metal band that did songs about 13th century gods, that had
they opened to Crack the Sky a couple
dirty sense of humor about it, check them out.
Now, what are they called again? Zodiac Mind Warp?
Yeah, their biggest hit was a song called Prime Mover. It is so ridiculous, especially if you listen to the lyrics.
What the hell am I looking at?
I'm going to have to look at the era when they came around.
Yeah, it was 80s, early 80s at some point.
Something I probably did know about, because in the 80s,
you may have, like, once you hear it, you might, I remember this.
Yeah,
Speak
because
American.
The type of music that I was listening to back then would have been right up there. Holy shit, that can't be the same guy. I know him.
Yeah.
No, it's different. No, okay. Okay, never mind. I thought I knew that guy.
I got a little bit of sort of showbiz news here. Mick Jagger, the legendary frontman of the Rolling Stones, has decided to donate his share of the band's catalog to charity rather than leave it to his children. His children have planned on killing him today. Valued at an impressive $500 million. He's just giving it away and not leaving, probably leaving like,
Yeah, but
chump change to
his
kids.
kids are fine.
I was going to say his kids are what, 65 years old? They're probably already retired and fine anyway.
Well, on top of that, Mick Jagger is like is educated in finance, and that's why the Stones have done so well over the years, because they have Mick running things. He's got like a I don't know if he's got an official degree in business, but he does have like a business background.
And so that's why the black guy was never made a member of the band. Otherwise, they'd have to split the royalties another way. They just did the black guy a paycheck, and he just has like the.
I wonder if Wyman still gets a cut.
Who?
Does Wyman? Bill Wyman, the original bass player, does he still get a cut?
I thought he was dead.
No, he's still around.
Oh.
You're talking about Brian Jones, the original guitar player who died.
I don't know though. I could see Mick Jagger coming to him and being like, "Hey, we're gonna settle. We're gonna pay you out, and we're not gonna pay you royalties." Because I could see Mick going, "No, I want to keep this shit."
Right. But if I were his kids, I'd be a little bitter. Even though Steven's right, they're probably already pretty set. But, pretty set is not...
well, the kids that he knows about are probably set. But the 14 or so that he are just learning about, and they're just learning about their dad because of 23andMe. Because of 23andMe, they're like, fuck!
Well, I was going to say, I wonder if Mick Jagger and some of them rock stars from that era have avoided it just because they probably have like tons of kids everywhere.
Right.
You think they didn't do the 23andMe because they don't want to be in a database because they don't want to find out that they are,
think about like Motley Crue, right? Those dudes were fucking each one of those guys were fucking 3 or 4 women a night, no protection. They have to each have like 3 or 4 kids minimum that they don't know about.
Joe Rogan.
Vagina.
Did you guys call Rogan an idiot for me yesterday? I mean, I asked.
I don't even think we even mentioned him. I apologize because I even wrote it down. I wrote it down to do that, but
Are you a retard?
Well, thanks. A day late, but $1 short. Billy Corgan was on Rogan and discussing the Bill Burr, ambush on Howie Mandel, where Howie Mandel had Billy Corgan and Bill Burr on there and saying they were half brothers or something. And then Billy Corgan elaborated on this story. Like that story's been around for years within his family. His mother, Billy Corgan's mother, brought a picture of Bill Burr to Billy Corgan 10 years ago and said, "I think this might be your half brother." Now Howie Mandel didn't even know. Howie Mandel was just goofing and just like, having fun with it. And then it turned into something serious. But it turns out there might be something to it. Billy Corgan says they don't want to take a DNA test. He doesn't want to find out. I would want to find out. But apparently Billy Corgan's mother said his father had fathered at least 14 children that she knew were out there, but didn't know who they were. And for some reason, she thought that Bill Burr might be one of them. It's pretty...
I would want to find out, only because I like resolution.
Yeah, wouldn't you want to find out? I mean, even
if I found out and just still, I'm not saying it would change the relationship. However I feel about Bill Burr wouldn't have changed if I found out he was my half brother. Right. I would probably maybe I'd be a little bit more ashamed of him, thinking that he has Fenderson blood in him. Please.
Well, at least you're right. Closure, though, because people in his family have been talking about it for over a decade. You'd want to end the discussion one way or another, right? Or no? I don't know. I thought it was pretty.
Because I know my father had a meandering penis, and so if I had other brothers and sisters out there, I would want to know about them.
Yeah.
Maybe because I would hope that my father had at least one more son out there who produced children, male children. Otherwise, our name is dead. I'm the last Fenderson.
My aunt did 23andMe and found out that my grandfather, the Klansman, has not only the 3 kids that they know about, but at least 3 others
with black women.
None of them are black yet. None of them are black.
He's not confessing to it.
Well, no, he's slept with black women. I caught him sleeping with the neighbor Nene across the street.
Yeah,
I caught him doing that, but I don't know if he's ever had kids with any of the black women he slept with. But he has slept with black women. But so far, the siblings that my aunt has found through 23andMe have all been white.
All right, Stephen, lay down on the couch for a second here. Now, recall this moment. How old were you when you caught Grandpa diddling the black lady across the street?
He told us
coming for you. I was 11 years old.
Yeah.
11 years old.
He was so stupid. He parked his car outside the house.
His motorcycle.
His motorcycle right outside the house.
And you just walked in. The door was unlocked.
No, so I went outside to play, and I went outside and I saw my grandpa's motorcycle across the street. Went back inside and I was like, "Hey, Dad, where's Grandpa?" And he goes, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Well, Grandpa's motorcycle is outside." And and we went out there and looked, and that was his bike, but he wasn't there. And then, a little bit later, I saw him walking out, and then he saw me and just kind of broke eye contact, jumped on his bike, and took off.
Welcome to Minucci's.
That sounds like somebody who wanted to get caught.
Yeah, that's
unless he didn't know his family lived across the street.
No, I don't think he knew we were home.
To get caught by some other woman, and then you kind of made them.
If I remember correctly, it was. I think it was like it was a holiday, like President's Day or something. My dad was off work. I was off work. I don't think my grandpa knew that we weren't home at that time. We would have been at school and work normally.
All right.
Vagina.
Maybe it was
he was what, banging her in honor of Lincoln?
No,
President's Day. He's like, "This is for you, Lincoln."
Well, I think because he's a white. I think he's because he's a white supremacist, but also kind of a pussy. He didn't want to murder anyone, so instead he's like, "I'm going to murder that puss." And
yeah, but we know he couldn't do that. So okay, let's be realistic.
It's not even funny.
He's got kids, so I don't know.
I'm talking about murdering though.
Oh God, the FBI is getting me help.
We lost Stephen to the AT&T police, but yeah, that's fine. Who needs them anyway? So, Stephen, are you still there?
Still here.
Are you still there?
Whoa.
So, is this your last day as a regular on the program?
I won't know till this afternoon till I know my start date.
Well, if I would have known, I would have baked the cake and eaten it.
Rise up, stroke down.
I have some toilet cakes in the other room if you want. Urinal cakes.
Well, I'll find out when my start date is, but yeah, I mean, as far as being on every day, probably won't be a thing anymore. But I'll definitely be on my off days and stuff. So.
All right. Maybe we should get Willie on to replace you. I don't know if you know this about Willie, but he's ready to replace you.
Well, and I'm also planning a trip for Beyond Classified. I was invited to the Mothman Festival. No, Mothman Festival in West Virginia. With Mothman Festival.
Yeah, it happens every year. I have a friend that goes to that every couple of years.
They have live guests. They talk about different cryptids and stuff like that. It should be a fun time, and I think it'd be a cool thing to cover for Beyond Classified. So
yeah, they have real moths.
There's even live performances.
You bastard artist. Give me you bastard artist.
That's tasty.
I'm gonna have to get a cigarette lighter on my desk. So
can you just upload that to Spotify so I can put that on my playlist?
It almost makes my ass stop bleeding.
Aw.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get a lighter, so whenever you play that, I can just. That's what that sounds like.
There's another death that probably not a lot of people are talking about, but Roy Ayers died. He was 84 years old. He had a hit song called "Everyone Loves the Sunshine."
We'll talk in the sunshine.
Yeah.
We'll laugh every day.
Yeah, he's got some pretty good credibility to his name.
Is that GD's dad?
He was a vibraphonist, a composer, and a pioneer of jazz funk, and he died on Tuesday. He was
How
84.
dare you say vibraphonist?
Yeah. He is also known as the godfather of neo soul.
Neo soul, what is that?
Yeah,
That's
and
soul that is for the Matrix.
Okay, that's what I figured. That's what popped up in my head. So I just wanted to make sure I was correct.
But in the world of hip hop too, he got recognition because a lot of his stuff was sampled back in the day, and he's just got a lot of credibility. Probably not a lot of people were talking about it, but I mean that guy had a fucking stellar career, and most people don't even know about it.
Did he leave his $500 to his kids, or did he?
Probably.
Yeah.
But at least he loved his fucking art and made a living doing it.
Yeah, that's the whole point of art. Is I have I want to call him a friend, somebody I've been working with a little bit here and there, on and off for 50 years in music projects. He said he hasn't written a song in 15 years because I can't compete. I'm like, compete, and he's like, I'm never gonna go viral with anything. I can't compete with the music today. Like, that's not what it's all about. You create art for art's sake. Maybe somewhere along the line somebody discovers it. Even if it's one person after you're dead, you're still alive somehow. It's about creating art for the sake of art and laying it down. It's not about I gotta compete with the young people. I gotta get rich off it. I gotta whatever it is. If that's the reason you're doing it, yeah, then everybody should give up, because nobody can compete with the money machines that push, I don't know, whatever it is they push, the pop music. But music. Yeah, you're right. So he left his vibraphone stuff to get sampled. Now my stool has been sampled many, many times by many doctors, and turns out I am going to be the reason they find a cure for ass cancer after I'm gone. So that's my legacy. What do you got? You got nothing.
I'm leaving a legless legacy.
Vagina.
I think they
call it an armistice.
And they also already did that in Lord of the Rings. Legolas already has a legacy.
He was my favorite character.
Yeah, I'm working on my legacy. I'm going to write a book about being a cocksmith. It's going to be out next year.
Ooh, I can't wait to see the movie adaptation.
You like sniffing cocks? What's a cock sniff?
No, a cocksmith. I know that's what you're into, but
I'm not into anything. But what is a cocksmith? Somebody who carves out cocks. What is a cocksmith? It's like I know what a blacksmith is. I know what a
cocksmith is just an old term for a guy that beds a lot of women.
Oh, I did not know that. See, you're older than me. I would not.
See, Ron is using old English. Matt can only go as far back as calling that person a Casanova.
Yeah.
Welcome to In the Corner.
Don Juan. Cocksmith. I'll start to have to use that a little more. There were plenty of cocksmiths I performed for yesterday. Had a little ego boost yesterday. Somebody who I was a fan of when I was a kid, bought all his 45 records, who is now a resident in the facility that I worked at. And I can't say his name because HIPAA laws would fuck me up. But he's somebody who I looked up to as a kid, came over to me and said, that was a perfect hour. He said, I really appreciate the song selection. Your voice held up great. My voice wouldn't hold up for an hour of that stuff. And he said he started using technical stuff like the way you went from chest voice through mixed voice to head voice and back again. He said, that's very impressive. I was like, wow, this is somebody who knows his shit. And then he's saying nice things about me. That doesn't happen. I don't get compliments.
So what? I didn't even know that you liked Rod Stewart.
No, Rod Stewart wouldn't be in a facility like this yet, would he? No. And especially not on Long Island. He would be in some cocksmith place in London, right? Some cocksmith Hall of Fame.
Maybe.
Yeah. So what made you think of Rod Stewart, by the way?
I was just going to I just grabbed the name that I knew
you
could
just
not
grabbing
possibly
Rod.
be.
You were just trying to grab any rod in a storm.
I just didn't want. I was thinking of someone that I knew could not possibly be that person.
Oh.
All right, behave.
Wow.
All right, guys. I'm gonna jump because I'm gonna get out of here before the guest shows up. Because I have an interview at 11, so I'm gonna get out.
All right, brother. Good luck, man.
I thought this was an interview. You were interviewing Steven right now.
No, me and Ron are trying to find jobs to get off this shit.
Well, if you would pay us better, Matt, we would stay. But
listen,
things are looking up in that area.
Minimum wage isn't good enough for you guys.
I'll stay for $15 an hour.
Yeah, we're staying around because there's no tax on tips coming. So that's how Matt pays us.
Yeah, he just sends us pictures of his
the
tip.
thing is, his tip doesn't last that long. We'll have to wait like an hour between uses.
And a lot of that comes.
Wow. Our guest has arrived really early. She's not due here for another 20 minutes, but she's already.
But that's
here.
okay. That's why she left herself blurred. She's doing reconnaissance work.
Right, and also she's in time to see are these people I really want to talk to? And the answer is no.
No, she does, because how many people? Okay, I look at this. Just for her, I created that just for her. Okay, that's King Charles the Bald from Belgium.
Speak American.
Belgium. I have to use the word "earn" in there somewhere. So Belgium.
All right, before we say goodbye to Ron and wish him luck with his interview at AT&T, if you're going for Steven's job that they already promised Steven.
trying to take black jobs.
Wouldn't that suck if Ron got the job today and it turned out Steven gets a call like 3 minutes later? We changed our mind. We found the guy.
That was suck for Ron because he had to commute to Michigan. Yeah, Ron would have to commute to Michigan, and I mean, wow.
So Steven, are you moving to Michigan?
No, where I live, Michigan's about 5 minutes away. So this job would be 15 minutes from home.
Wow, Michigan's 5 minutes away. So you're
that's where
Rittenhouse kid. You could just jump over the line, shoot somebody, and mom will drop you off. And
that's where we go to get our weed. Is we just go over there to Michigan and go to the dispensary and bring it all home.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm trying to get out to Michigan spring or summer.
Hey, Michigan's nice. Michigan's nice, man.
Yeah, I spent one day and not even a complete day in Michigan in my whole life, and I couldn't stand it there, and I vowed to never go back there. I'd rather go to Alabama.
Well, here's the thing. Michigan, here's what people don't understand about Michigan. Michigan is an extension of the South. It's misplaced. Michigan, when you go from
part of Michigan.
Well, no. Because here's the thing. Because Detroit feels a lot like Atlanta. All of Michigan feels like it's an extension of like Georgia and Florida, because you go up there, you have two demographics. You have the inner city normal crowds that you'd find in any normal inner city, but then you go right outside of town, it's nothing but trailer parks, trashed yards, and mansions.
Right.
Just like the South, you have mansions and you have trash. Like that's pretty much all you have.
You warm my heart a little bit, because you said the name of that city like a New Yorker would say the name of that city. I'm not sure that most people in the country say the name of that city the way you just said. That it's a New York thing.
Which city?
You said Detroit.
Detroit, yeah.
Detroit, not Detroit. Detroit. Anyway, it's just Kid Rock country. It's
very much white trash. For the most part,
isn't it Ted Nugent too? Isn't Ted Nugent there?
I think so. But on the flip side, Muhammad Ali lived in Michigan.
He does. He's an Alabama guy. Right?
He did.
Oh no, wasn't he Mississippi? Was he Mississippi? Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, right? That's what
he was in Louisville, but he also had a home in Michigan. It had big gates with his initials on it, and it was a massive property.
Why? That's all I gotta say is why.
Because Michigan, because even though you have a mix of basically inner city trash and then white trash everywhere else, mixed in, you have beautiful properties that have these massive chunks of land. Because Michigan's really pretty, like nature wise. Michigan's pretty. You have rolling hills, you have forestry. It's beautiful.
You have the lake, which has a lot of.
Well, not only do you have Lake Michigan, and you have the other lakes on the other sides of it. You have the Upper Peninsula, which is damn near postcard quality fucking imagery. It's beautiful.
Well, so a lot of the rich people are Upers. They live up there.
Upper Peninsula is a big spot, and then center, middle, lower state is real popular too, because that's where the hills get real windy and funky.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Ron. Thanks for putting in the first hour. We're gonna have to dock your check for the second hour. Whatever. We'll do news now.
You must be the Monopoly guy.
I am the Monopoly guy. I'm the guy who hands out the fake money every time you pass go, or every time you go past.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, brother. Good luck on your interviews, though, man.
Yeah. Good luck.
See ya.
The United States is engaging in direct talks with Hamas amid ongoing efforts to maintain a ceasefire in Gaza. Lawrence Keller reports.
Israel has halted the entry of essential supplies to pressure Hamas into accepting alternative ceasefire arrangements and the release of Israeli hostages, a move condemned by rights groups as a starvation policy. In the West Bank, Palestinians are evacuating homes slated for demolition by the Israeli military, resulting in the displacement of nearly 40,000 people.
Powerful South Korea and Poland have signed a cooperation agreement in Warsaw, strengthening ties in politics, economy, defense, and culture through 2028. Joseph Eckerson reporting.
This pact aims to enhance trans-regional security, engaging both Europe and the Indo-Pacific under the NATO IP4 partnership. Since 2013, both nations have been strategic partners, with South Korea supplying significant military equipment to Poland, aiding in modernizing its armed forces.
In Tunisia, a high-profile trial has commenced involving 40 individuals, including notable opposition figures accused of conspiring against state security.
Activists and lawyers criticize the trial as politically motivated, alleging it aims to suppress dissent following President Kais Saied's controversial power consolidation in 2021. The defendants, comprising politicians, diplomats, business leaders, journalists, lawyers, and human rights defenders. Benjamin Wright reporting.
This is the latest news headlines.
In Wisconsin, Governor Tony Evers has issued an open letter urging the state's Republican congressional delegation to oppose proposed federal program cuts.
He expressed concerns that such cuts could harm the state's budget and essential services. Evers specifically called on the delegation to reject reductions to Medicaid and other federal assistance programs, emphasizing the potential negative impact on vulnerable populations. Jessica Oakley reporting.
The Georgia House has passed House Bill 268, a school safety measure following a tragic shooting at Appalachia High School in September that resulted in 4 deaths. Jim Kender with the latest.
The bill, approved by a vote of 159 to 13, aims to prevent similar incidents by creating a statewide student database that includes disciplinary, mental health, and law enforcement information. Additional provisions include faster transfer of student records and establishment of mental health coordinators.
Storms have caused significant disruptions across the United States, with tornado warnings issued in the Carolinas, Florida, and Virginia.
These storms have resulted in 3 fatalities in Mississippi and damaged buildings in Oklahoma. In Texas, high winds and dry conditions have fueled wildfires, destroying several homes and structures. Meanwhile, blizzard conditions have impacted parts of the Midwest, including eastern Nebraska, Iowa, and Minnesota. Kyle Norris reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
I just want to say that Al got to send me a video. I don't know if he forgot or he just got lazy. I mean, come on, Al. You're supposed to keep up with the workload here. I mean, how hard is it when you're using AI? How hard is it to just do your job?
I also wanted to give a shout out to a friend who is a fan of my streams on Twitch, who sent me some flight controls.
Flight controls. Now, that plugs into your dopey little game, your little childish game that you play.
To my flight sim, yes.
What do you use to do that? You like PlayStation? I mean, if you're using something,
I use an Xbox.
Okay, I'm confused. You just did a shout out, but didn't shout out the person's name that you're shouting out.
His name's Jamie.
Okay,
his name's Jamie.
I'm gonna shout out to nobody because they sent me this.
They sent me a shout out to Anonymous. Shout out to Anonymous.
Which meant you could have just done nothing. and held up the object.
Well, listen, I don't even know his last name. He was just like, hey, he goes,
Hold
love
that
the
thing up
stream.
again.
I noticed.
Hold that thing up again.
Yeah.
Just somebody you don't know their last name invested in that to send it to you, and now how much was the postage and whatever the shipping? Somebody you don't
He sent it
even
through
know.
Amazon. He sent it through Amazon. These are like $120.
And you don't even know his last name. I would think somebody spent that much money on you. You might want to learn his last name.
He follows me on Twitch.
It wasn't on the postage or like a little note or anything. That was just, because I use my last name for everything.
All it said was "Happy Skies, Jamie" on the card. That's all it said.
Now, is this somebody who flies with who you fly? Do you like compete?
He's flown with me before. Yeah, we fly together.
So it's effective. So you're going to crash and he's going to get all your points. Is that it?
No, that's not a thing. But
let's fly away.
But no, he said, hey, he's like, hey, I noticed that you're still using a controller to fly. He goes, I think you'd have a lot more fun and you'd be a lot better if you had some flight controls. I was like, oh, cool. Yeah, that'd be awesome. He goes, cool. Give me an address. So I gave him my old address, which I'm having everything forwarded from. So I didn't have to give out my current address. So,
all right.
So nobody knows that you live at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue in Washington, D.C.
Right.
Oh,
I'm just saying nobody knows that.
No, nobody knows that. That I live at the place that rhymes with White House.
Wow.
Okay.
Tell him
it's Amy. Is that Amy White House?
I like actual real like Cessnas and give him my address. Tell him. Okay.
What's cool is I've met real pilots that fly in the flight sim, and one of them is a local pilot who's going to be taking me on a ride in his Cessna in July. So excited about it.
We look.
I piloted a Cessna back in the day.
Leave the door open and just kind of make a quick turn and no more Steven, right? That's
hey, you know what, man? Look, I'm not afraid of the fall. It's just the sudden stop at the end. So as long as it's hard enough, I'm good.
All right.
Well, don't worry, because if you fall from high enough, you'll hit the Golden Dome and you just slide down the side.
Damn it, Trump! Come on, man! I'd like to hit the ground.
Outside the Golden Dome. This is the problem. The dome is like a hard. You can't get over it, right? I mean, Iron Dome, Golden Dome.
No, you have to fly
high enough to fall and die. I'll have to just bounce and get hurt real bad. Then I'll be quadriplegic.
Well, it's like an open air arena. You know those closed dome arenas where it's a retractable dome. So they can, when it's a sunny day, they can open it up. You can fly outside the dome, but when you get to the edge, you can just jump off the plane and slide down the dome and hit the ground that way.
All right. Okay. Are you ready? No, we're not ready because I don't know if Deborah or DH. I didn't want to give away the big mystery to what the D and DH stands for, but I don't see her there, so I'm not sure if it's safe to bring her in yet. How do I know?
You'll just have to just trust the feeling in your nuggets and go with it.
You trust the force.
I have no feelings anywhere. I got nothing. So maybe we'll wait. I don't know. I don't want to just bring in. She's away getting coffee or whatever, and just bring in an empty screen.
Well, I don't know if that blur is real time, but if that blur is real time, it looks like there's a face there.
It does.
And it looks like it's moving a little bit to the left and to the right, but I can't tell.
I don't see anything.
That could also be my drugs kicking in.
You guys got better eyes than me.
Everybody has better eyes than you. Moles have better eyes than you. Voles have better eyes than you.
That's a fair statement, I think.
Marty Feldman has a better eye than you.
Oh, I don't know about that. Now we're getting
there she is. Wow, that blur was not real time. I was completely wrong. And I'm excited to talk to Deborah.
You have worse eyes than me and Marty Feldman combined, or half, whatever.
You know what's funny is I was talking to
Marty Feldman.
No, I was talking to this girl.
We're getting ready to introduce the guest, and you started doing. Oh, I got a funny story.
Well, you said you didn't want to bring her in until the right time.
I didn't know this about me, but I like to interrupt people when they're trying to talk.
All right, you sons of bitches. I'm done. I'll sit here quiet. I'm going to be Ron.
Tell you a funny story really quick, as fast as you can tell it. Go ahead, really fast. Tell it.
That's too late. It's too late.
All right.
Oh, that was a nice story. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Steve. That was a really nice story.
All right, asshole.
As an author, D.H. Morris. No, you gotta love that name, D.H. Morris, right? It sounds like it's
does.
there's authenticity and cred just to a name.
It's got aura, as the kids say.
As an author, she is passionate about bringing history to life through richly detailed and ethically crafted stories. Her focus is on creating strong, complex characters who defy societal norms, reflecting both our dedication to historical accuracy and her passion for meaningful storytelling. The book is A Girl with Many Crowns, and she's here now. Good morning, DH or Deborah Morris. We've already exposed a big part of the secret here. What does DH stand for? And we got Deborah. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
I'm delighted to be with you guys.
So you have low standards. Thank you. We appreciate
hold on.
that.
We got to get to the real confrontational part right away. You're a descendant of royalty, European royalty, Belgium. Did you bring us chocolates?
No, but I have some if you want to come visit.
All right. Where would well, you don't want to give away where you are.
Kansas City, Missouri.
Oh.
We have good barbecue too.
Deborah, I was just there a few months ago twice, and I could have gotten some chocolate and met a nice sweet lady at the same time. See, but no, I had to go do stuff with my now ex-wife. Jeez.
See, Deborah, you missed the opportunity.
You had some good barbecue while you were here.
I had some great barbecue. In fact, I stayed the night at the airport, and they had this awesome barbecue joint there, and I had it for dinner, and I had it for breakfast and lunch before my flight. It's fantastic.
Before we even get started talking about the books, I'm showing the cover there on the screen, and I have a shortened link on Amazon for where people can go and purchase the book today. You can read all the the little teasers on there and find out if this book is for you. I think it might be. Here's the questions I have regarding the book. First of all, I like historical fiction because it's really interesting for me. But I have big trouble separating where fiction and history are, and that gets me into a lot of trouble because nobody who writes historical fiction ever puts in notes. This is history. This is fiction.
And the next thing you know, Matt is out there having an argument with someone saying, "Yes, I do know this about that,"
right.
And it turns out
is this book history or is it historical fiction?
Well, when I first started writing it, it turned into a history book. And then I thought, no one's going to buy this. I had so many footnotes and so many facts and figures, and bibliography was 4 pages long. And then I thought, I've got to somehow make this read like a novel. And so that was my challenge. And I eliminated probably a third of the book. But every major event in this book is real. Wow. And
so I have
fill in the gaps with conversation and things like that. And even some of the conversations I lifted right out of the writings of the day.
Wow.
So that I was very lucky to find a lot of historical information. There's tons of it out there. If you can read Latin, which I can't, I can speak German. A lot of it's translated into German, which I was able to make use of conversations that way. But there are a lot of British historians, especially for the medieval time, and particularly who specialize in the 9th century. And they have translated a lot of the records. The record that I based it on was called The Annals of St. Burton. It was written by the monks in the 9th century. And every year, at the end of the year, they would write a short synopsis of what happened that year. And I wanted to cover what happened to my ancestor during a certain very volatile period. It also happens to be the birthing of Europe as we know it. They were fighting over borders, whether it was going to be Germany, whether it was going to be France, Belgium. Eventually, she and her third husband are the founding couple of Belgium. But she's the first princess of France. Her father, Charles the Bald, is the
right
first
there,
king
Charles
of
the
France.
Bald, right there.
Yeah. And he was the grandson of Charlemagne. So this is the splitting up of Charlemagne's great empire and all the politics, all the assassination attempts, everything that happened within a 7-year period.
Wow.
And they rarely wrote about women unless they did something very scandalous. This happens to be, I just found out, March happens to be Women's History Month. So this is a great time for everybody to pick up a book about a woman in history that maybe you didn't know about. This book also, it's not just Judith's story. Judith is the princess who becomes the first anointed Queen of England. And she is married off at 12 years old to the widowed 50-year-old King of Wessex for political reasons. She's involved in all kinds of politics. And
so she was 12 when she became the Queen of Wessex?
The first anointed Queen of Wessex, anointed by the church. Up till then, Wessex didn't have queens. They had wife of the king, and they were not crowned and they were not called queen.
Wow.
But when you look at the book, it will tell you why and how they got Wessex to accept a queen, and not only accept a queen, but the church never consecrated queens. They only consecrated kings, and not all kings. So this was a special event, and her father hoped that by having her consecrated Queen of England, any children she had might have a greater opportunity to take the throne of Wessex, as opposed to her grown 20-something-year-old stepsons. And so this was the idea. In the meantime, you have Viking attacks. You've got also, it starts out actually with a brave knight named Baldwin Iron Arm, and he becomes a companion to Judith's brother, who was only 9 years old, but he is going to be made a provincial king shortly in Neustria. And so Baldwin Iron Arm becomes friends with Judith through his association with her brother. We follow simultaneously through the book 3 different perspectives. Baldwin Iron Arms, he stays in France, or Francia, and you see all the wars, Viking attacks, all the politics on that side of the channel. And then Judith, you see all the inner conflicts, almost a civil war occurring in Wessex because of her marriage. When she is widowed at 13, almost 14, she is forced to marry her stepson. And so she becomes Queen of Wessex again. Wow. She's widowed again by the time she's 15. And this time she says, I'm not going to marry again. I'm not going to wait for my father to bring me home. I'm just going back to Francia myself. And she stands up to her father and says, no more. and he imprisons her in one of his palaces. And at that point, she reconnects with Baldwin, and he assists her in escaping from the palace.
She'll grow her hair long so he could climb up.
No, you'll have to read it if you want to know.
Sounded familiar.
You got to buy the book, Matt.
Oh yeah, I don't think we have to buy the book. I think DH is going to tell us everything that's in the book.
Shouldn't tell that.
There's a lot in there, but you know what? It's history. Anybody can look it up.
Yeah. Well,
you can look up what happened to these characters. So that's kind of
how you research.
Difficult to keep secret.
Right. I would definitely I'm interested in how you research something that happened before the Dark Ages, because I would have thought a lot of this information would have got lost. But GD, correct me if I'm wrong. I think You're and wrong. GD have something in common here. I think GD's wife is a descendant of Charlemagne, right? So
technically it's my mother's daughter-in-law. So I had to bring up my mother. I'm obligated to talk, right? So technically my mother's daughter-in-law is a descendant of Charlemagne.
So it depends on which son or a grandson or granddaughter she comes through. This could be one of her ancestors as well.
Well, her line comes up through
about Charlemagne.
Her line comes up through Canada. So the family, whatever descendants of Charlemagne, and I think there's like 7 or 12 families that kind of established Canada in their name. She is traced through that line. Now, they have like a whole book, family tree, with the family crest and all that other crap. But they don't show it to me because they know my ancestors. Like our family crest is a cotton ball, so they don't want to rub it in. So
I'm sorry, that just hit me.
These are her relatives, even if it's not her direct ancestor. It's at least her cousin.
Right.
They're kind of like direct. It's direct.
Yeah. I mean, covered in this book.
Oh.
Now I want to come back to this idea, because 9th century, you're talking 800 something. Then the Dark Ages hit. How did all this information survive, and can it be trusted? The information
it's amazing how much information is out there. I wish now that I had learned Latin, because actually my oldest brother, I'm a native of San Diego, and they taught Latin in his high school.
I was about to say, don't you have any recovering Catholics in your family? Because they probably spoke Latin, because that was how the masses were all taught. Masses were all done in Latin.
I was raised Catholic. We didn't speak Latin. We were lucky.
Well, you were probably one of the ignorant Catholics.
They changed it to English.
Yeah, and also, to be honest, they did it like that to kind of keep it a mystery. So a lot of even though the priests spoke, the priests and the bishops used Latin, most lay people did not speak Latin. They it was just a mystery to them, which is why they were so ignorant of the Bible. They had no idea.
Deborah, in finding this stuff out, you didn't just go to your local library, right? Did you have to travel to Europe and dig into some local records? I mean, the research process.
Well, I lived for 14 years in Europe. So I've been to a lot of these places, but actually with the internet, you can find a lot of these records online. You can borrow records through your university libraries are absolutely excellent in having access to a lot of these records. It's amazing how much is out there. One thing I was going to say also about your earlier question about how much of it is actual truth. At the end, I put in an afterword, and it tells what happened historically to each of the characters.
See, now, I would have saved that for a follow-up.
I think they would have all died, right? They all died. I'm just saying.
Well,
I'm just
it's very
assuming.
Come on, G.
I'm going to do. Okay, I didn't want to do any.
Actually,
I didn't want to be a spoiler alert.
I just want to say, two of them are in my poker group on Thursday night. So
that's true. But Mine Dog is also
the painting of your poker group. Those are all dogs. I've seen the painting of your poker group. They're all dogs.
Leave him alone. He's 109 years old. Okay, he still has the same poker group he's had since the Dark Ages.
He's still collecting Social Security, right?
Yeah.
Oh yes. So Deborah, I do have a history question for you. Historically speaking, because you spoke about the birthing of Europe, which came first, the birthing of Europe or the crowning of Europe? Because usually when you have a birthing, there's usually crowning beforehand. It's like it's crowning, and just
Maybe
so which came first?
Crowning.
Oh, okay.
It could be.
On that, it's still kind of evolving because you were talking about borders being drawn and all that stuff. We're still changing of that to some degree, and it's still evolving, right? Europe is not.
They're trying to get each other's. Charles the Bald's brother.
Charles the Bald. That's not his brother. That's Charles the Bald.
His half brother Louis the German is trying to take his kingdom. He never wanted him to be born anyway, and so they've been there was a civil war between Charles the Bald and his brothers when their father Louis the Pious died.
Wow.
And the
but what was the pecking order? What was the pecking order? Who was the oldest? Doesn't that make a difference?
The oldest was Lothar. When this starts, Lothar is gone. But his son, Lothar II, is in there, and he's an important character in the book.
There is something in in the annals of my memory, Lothar. It was I'm not sure if it was a Monty Python reference or something. It will come to me later on today, but
it does sound familiar.
Yeah,
it'll come to him around 4 o'clock when he's having his afternoon constitutional.
Was it Monty Python? And the whole the Grail or whatever.
I don't know.
The name doesn't sound so.
Lothario used to be an epithet that meant you were a womanizer. Ooh. And actually, Lothar is involved in a scandal in this book. It was one of the biggest scandals of that century, the early part of the century.
Right.
So it's an interesting time. There are 7 years that I cover, 856 through 862, 863.
Wow.
And it's a time where
you talk about 800s, it just seems like how could that even be? I mean, that's so long ago. How could there even have been a civilization then? It's just a very strange number to hear. 8.
Who said they were civilized? They were getting married at 12. They were marrying 12-year-olds to 50-year-olds.
And giving a 12-year-old power. Like, can you imagine that in today's age? 12.
I want pudding. Pudding in every pot.
Exactly.
Off with their heads.
Everybody gets a Barbie doll. That kind of thing. Yeah.
Who's playing? Who's been playing with my Legos?
Educated.
Yeah.
They're much more educated than you would imagine, and much more often in the Vikings and things like that. We just see the dirty, grungy side. We don't see that there was a lot of elegance, a lot of complex elements to their society.
All right.
Which I discovered.
No,
I'm ignorant to it. And I think most of us are ignorant to it because they don't.
I'm well versed. I grew up in this stuff. I grew up with this shit. So Judith Flanders, she was in the Carolingian dynasty. How long did that last? How long did that dynasty last?
It wasn't that long. Because her brothers, her brother Louis, who is the companion of Baldwin Ironarm, when he died, and he died young.
Well, only the good died young.
His sons took over, and they only lasted a few years. And then all of a sudden it all shifts to a different. It goes to another figure in the book who I also happen to come through, but is kind of a bad guy in the book, is Robert the Strong. And his family eventually takes over and rules France.
With a name like that, you would think
that
he was
isn't
Dennis sooner or
covered
later.
in the book, but it's covered in the afterword.
Yeah, Bob the Strong. Wow.
They didn't call him Bob. They called him Robert. Only.
Well,
only
this is how
the
triggerable I am. She said Brother Louis, and all of a sudden I stopped listening to her, and I'm listening to the Brother Louis, Brother Louis song. Yeah, her brother Louis. Oh, wait a minute, I'm lost.
And their cousin Hugger Louis.
Right.
Unfortunately, the names are challenging because everybody wanted to name someone after either Charlemagne, so they named him Charles. So there's like 3 Charles running around in the book. You have Charles, the young Charles, Charles of Provence, and Charles the Bald. But then you've got several Louis because Charlemagne's son, Louis the Pious, was the ancestor of all these, and everybody wanted to name their son after Grandpa, right?
Yeah.
So now, you said Charles the Young.
Too many.
Did Charles the Young get replaced by Charles the Younger and eventually by Charles the Youngest? And when does that stop?
Charles the Old.
Young Charles was a prankster, and he loved to play tricks on people. Unfortunately, in the afterword, you see that leads to his early demise when he was a victim of his own prank. And
he glued himself to the toilet.
19.
A couple of things I'm interested in. Like
he called somebody and said, "Yeah, Prince Albert in the can." He said, "Prince Albert hasn't been born yet," and they off with his head.
Call back in 4 centuries.
That's right. Sent a pigeon says, "Yeah, Prince Albert in the can."
What was the impetus? What made you decide to write this book? I mean, it's such a. It seems like an intensive labor in all the research and stuff. You're taking on like a real big project here. What made you say I'm ready for this book?
Well, I actually started, my interest in the story started when I looked at my genealogy chart that had been given to me by my aunt, who was the family genealogist. And I saw Judith's name 3 times, and I thought that doesn't work. She's 12-year-old, she's married here. She's a 14-year-old, she's married to the son of this one. That can't be right. Either everybody named their daughter Judith, or there's something wrong with my genealogy.
Well,
so
there's 3 of them. I can explain it.
The third time was to Baldwin. So
it was Cary Grant who
search.
came up with that. Judy.
Yeah, exactly.
He never said that. He never said Judy. That was he never said that. That was.
Don't ruin it for me.
I'm just saying that was Rich Little. Rich Little. That was his impersonation. He goes, Judy. He never said it. He only said it one time.
Now, this is you're off the show.
So Judith Flanders. Okay, this is all Judith Flanders. Now, so she starts off as Judith Flanders, then Judith, Queen of Wessex, or no, Princess of.
She starts out as Judith of Francia. And so the book is separated into 3 parts. Judith of Francia, part 2 is Judith of Wessex, part 3 is Judith of Flanders.
Okay, so Judith of Flanders was the countess. She was Countess Flanders then.
Exactly. She gave up all of her crowns to become the Countess of Flanders.
Right.
And eventually, and Belgium now considers them their founding couple, Judith and Baldwin. In fact, 1,200 years later, so you talk about a lot of repetition in names, the King of Belgium, his name is Baldwin.
like Alec.
It has been for 1,200
The Baldwin brothers. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they're back and they're accidentally killing people.
Baldwin, but it's still Baldwin.
Wow.
Now, so Judith being a countess, it was like 1 Judith, 2 Judith, 3 Judith, it was like 4 Judith. Sorry.
There's a Sesame Street reference for the younger people out there.
She was a countess. See, countess.
I get it. I get it because I'm a Sesame Seed. Sesame
Seed kid also.
I'm a Sesame Seed bagel. Sesame Street fanatic. But I don't think most of our people even were kids when that was on Sesame Street. I wasn't. I was a 30-year-old, and I started to learn to count with the count.
I'd have thought you'd have learned to count with some number runners. That's how I learned to count because my father was a numbers runner. But I could only count. But I could only count in dominations of dollar bills.
Right.
So I could only count by 1s, 5s, 10s, and 20s.
Okay. It's difficult enough to write a book from one perspective. Writing from 3 perspectives, challenging.
Was in a way, but it seemed to me to be the only way to tell this particular story because it was so involved. And so I did mention the first 2 perspectives, Baldwin's perspective as the knight, his involvement in wars, assassination plots, the Viking attacks, all of that, everything going on in Francia. Judith's, she's shipped off to Wessex, everything that's happening there. And then the third is from Archbishop Hincmar, who is the primary counselor to Charles the Bald. And from his perspective, we see King Charles' reaction to the escape. We see King Charles' reaction to invasions. We see the councils, the king's councils, how they plan for things, why things are done. So there are, and Archbishop Hincmar was a very interesting character. I had never heard of him until I started doing the research on this book. And it turns out that he was one of the most prolific writers and thinkers in the 9th century. In fact, his treatise called Divortio was on divorce, and it had such great influence, it shaped the Catholic Church's stance on no divorce for over 1,000 years.
Wow.
And you can blame that on Hincmar.
Wow.
And he was the one who also wrote Judith's ceremony they call it an ordo. He wrote that for her to be consecrated. And
Ordo.
I have the Latin full text, but I was lucky enough to find an English translation of it from a British professor online, and then I used parts of it in the book.
Wow.
And all queens after her, their consecration ceremony, including Elizabeth, were based on Judith's ceremony.
Now, there's a couple of things that come to mind here. First of all, this is way, way, way before the printing press was invented. So if you're reading this stuff, you're probably reading a first written draft, or maybe they had to, if there were copies, they were manually copied one at a time, one page at a time, one word at a time. So it's really surprising that any of it survived, right? So because if there's one original manuscript, were you reading original manuscripts?
I was generally reading printed copies of original manuscripts.
Oh yeah, I should have.
Because some of them have been published. In fact, the whole series of annals from the Dark Ages pretty much on to about, I don't know, about 14th century or so, called Monumenta Germania Historica. And it's like multiple volumes, maybe 18 volumes or more of just history that has been taken from, but it's all in Latin, as I said, except for some parts that have been translated into German, which I was grateful for.
Wow.
Have you tried? Because language is related to a lot of the other languages. You know, it's like the base. You know, it's like the base in a soup. You know, and everybody has like a different soup, but it's the same base. So, and that Latin is like that base. So, you got German. Do you have? Okay, here. I'm almost embarrassed because I'm sure everybody's thought of this. Pig Latin. Have you tried you doing it in Pig Latin? Because that's a little more common. And I'm sure people have already approached you with that. Now, I
you'd
apologize.
have to find a Catholic pig, right? You'd have to find a Catholic pig who was brought up on Pig Latin.
Or a Reformed Catholic pig, but you're right. Yes. Yeah. Or a lot of the priests were pigs, but.
Let me come back to a serious question. Now, I think
my question wasn't serious. It
wasn't. I hate to inform you, but it was. I'll send you. Oh, he left, and he put the book right in front of my face. That's not cool. Don't ever put the book right in front of my face like that. I think earlier on you said that you had written the history part of the book before you started writing the story, the entertaining part of the story. Yes, did I have that correct?
Yes.
So now, how do you go once you've got this manuscript that is full of history? How do you start to interject storylines into, or not just storylines, but conversations and stuff like that? Is that something you? I don't know how you get in the mindset because it's a very different mindset. Now you're a creator, not a documentarian or historian, right?
Right.
Different.
Yeah, the events I kept the same, but now you have to. That's the part of the historical fiction, is you have to fill in. Okay, so they went from here to here, and they did this. What would that look like? What would I say? How would I feel?
What would
you just
say?
have to try to put yourself into the place of the people who were there and hope for the best.
Hoping for the best, because you are a woman of the 21st century and you're trying to say, what would I say, not being a woman of the 9th century, which is, I'm sure, a very different experience.
I would think that if you went to like Alabama, they're still in the 9th century. So just go to Alabama. They probably talk the same way they did back then because they're still in the 9th century, and Mississippi as well.
I agree.
One thing I found out is that you don't use contractions if you want it to be more like the way they spoke then. And so that was difficult because I had to keep taking those out. And I think I've missed a couple in there I found later.
I find that fascinating because I know some people who talk like that and they don't ever say don't. They say do not all the time or cannot. And then to me, that's it's unusual to hear somebody speak like that, but it's kind of dignified. If it sounds more educated,
very formal.
But also, and I could be wrong about this because now we're getting to the weeds. But the alphabet, at least the English alphabet, only had like 22 letters back then. So like they didn't have a U, they had a V. They didn't have an S. I think they had an F. So were the words pronounced a little bit differently, even though they?
I'm not sure. I imagine
you're the historian. You're supposed to be able to know this.
But having lived in Europe and having learned German, and most of that time was in Germany, there are a lot of cognates between the English language and the German language. There's a lot of cognates between English and French and English and Latin even.
Right.
So I find it fascinating. I find the language fascinating, just as you said, and the pronunciations. Unfortunately, we don't have any recordings of anybody
Right.
speaking
Yeah.
then.
Yeah, because that was one of the problems with when Hollywood first started making movies about the Romans, and Romans spoke Latin, but all the Romans in the Hollywood movies had English accents.
Steven looks like the gummies are kicking in.
No, they kicked. They kicked it a long time ago.
They actually, it's funny you said that. It wasn't a gummy, it was a cookie, and it is kicking in. I misread the package. I thought I thought it was
no more going to Michigan for you. That's it. No
yeah,
more
that's
Michigan
my fault.
First of all, I doubted you even read the package until after you ate the cookie, and it said, "Please don't eat it." Yeah,
it wasn't packed after
half a
because
cookie.
I did not know it was a special cookie. My brother left it out for me with an energy drink, and I was like, "Oh, cool," because he goes to the gas station in the mornings to get coffee or whatever else. And I'm like, "Cool." So I ate it, and I was like getting ready to throw it away, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, "Oh."
See, now you just explained something, because a lot of people leave cookies out for Santa. And if they're leaving out those kinds of cookies, Santa is not making it to. Now I realize that maybe Santa didn't skip my house. He just never made it to my neighborhood because he was stoned. He was stoned 3 rooms down, staring at the stars.
I want to get back to the book, but I'm curious about this because I don't think gummies or cookies in this case should really go with an energy drink. That's like pulling you in 2 different directions. That's not necessarily good for you.
Well, you got to remember, I use the THC for pain control more than anything. I don't just wake up and get stoned.
Be like in a rubber room there. The energy drink is pushing you to go. The cookie say no, slow.
Well, the cookies relaxed my body, but the energy drink is keeping me awake. So.
It sounds like your brother's a scientist. Your brother's a scientist then, right? Because I would not have thought to do that.
Deborah, I'm going to expose my misogyny and small thinking here now. And if it offends you in any way, please slap me down and say, here's what I'm wondering. Because in the publishing world, we find women are very active in the romance stuff, and there is romance in this book, but the historical fiction tends to be a male audience. Do you know? And I know there are women who are interested in history. I'm not that small.
Well, you know they are because they can't let go. They can't let go, so you know they are. No, let me stop.
No, they'd never forget. That would be great for tests. You bring a woman along with you because she never forgets anything. But this, do you know who your audience is? Is it primarily women? Is it primarily men? Your demographic that you were reaching?
When I first wrote it, I really wanted my daughters to really relate to Judith and understand what a powerful character she becomes. And then it turns out, because I didn't put as much romance in as well, would you write a steamy sex scene about your grandparents or your parents? Probably not. It would make you uncomfortable. And even though it's removed a bit, it's treated much more circumspectly. But so when I turned it over to some male reviewers, professional reviewers, they said, this is not a woman's book. They had identified immediately with Baldwin Ironarm. This is an adventure novel. This is a history novel. It has politics with a touch of romance. Some women have loved it, but you've got to love history pretty much. The women who are looking for a romance book, I have to say, are a little disappointed. They call it a slow burn romance because it's much more realistic. It's not fantasy.
It's got a little bit of that Romeo and Juliet kind of feel to it, though. And I'm wondering, because I thought I read something just recently that was very reminiscent of this idea of a father arranging for a marriage and the woman not wanting to be part of the arranged marriage. She was in love with somebody else, but couldn't find a way out of the father's arranged marriage. So it still goes on today. I think that primarily would be really attractive to a female reader, because that, and I'm just going by publishing data. I know I sound like a very small-minded misogynist when I say this stuff, but I know what women read, and I know where the markets, the book market goes, and that kind of story is very attractive to women. But the history part of it is not so attractive to women. That's attractive to men, and I'm just like, where do you take that into consideration when you're writing the book? Like, who is my audience? Who is this for? And then I have to lean one way or the other, or you just write what you're going to write and let the chips fall where they're going to fall?
I pretty much wanted to be as true to the story as possible.
Wow.
And let the chips fall. I would say that women generally love this book, but they see it more as an empowering book.
Right.
Because we have a 12-year-old girl who starts as a pawn of several kings and finally stands up for herself, comes into her own and says, I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to marry who I want to marry. I'm going to, be independent.
But that just sounds like teen
and
angst.
She takes on an empire.
That's just a rebellious teen. See, that's just it. She starts off at 12 and goes, I'll marry, I'll do what you say, and then she becomes a teenager. She's like, I'm not going to get married. Okay, so that's just, anybody reading that would go like, yeah, she became a teenager. She became a rebellious teenager. No, I'm not gonna marry who you want me to marry. Yeah, Louis, I saw how you looked at that 10-year-old Louis. You think I'm gonna forget that? So
no, this seems like such an antiquated idea of a 12-year-old getting married. Now, my ex-brother would deny this, but my grandmother got married at 12 to a 19-year-old. My grandfather was 19 and my grandmother was 12. So it's not that antiquated. But today, if you even mentioned a 19-year-old getting married to a 12-year-old in the United States of America today, they would think Woody Allen, this guy needs to go to jail. I mean,
yeah.
But it's trying to wrap your head around getting married. What would even be appealing to somebody to want to marry a 12-year-old? It's really hard to wrap.
When my mom was 14, a 29-year-old man offered my grandmother, my mother's mother, a dowry for my mother to marry her at 14.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And fortunately, my mother had the good sense to say, "No, I'm going to wait for Glenn's father because he's a real catch."
Yeah. So, did you explore how cultural norms have changed over the centuries? Because that just seems like such a weird, in the light of the 21st century, thinking of marrying a 12-year-old just seems like so strange. Like, why would a 12-year-old be considered ready for marriage? You haven't even learned
because she
about
worked for Disney. She was a Disney child star.
Oh, okay.
According to the law, Frankish law, the minimum age for a woman to be married was age 12, minimum. And they didn't all get married at 12. That was unusual even for that day. A lot of them waited till they were their 20s, which is much more normal for what we would do.
So then they had like a year or two left to live. No.
Well,
that's like marrying a 90-year-old today.
Yeah, and then the men, when they were 15, they had to be 15 to be considered old enough to get married.
But they were never mature enough.
The age of adult.
See, I would definitely think a 12-year-old girl would be more mature than a 15-year-old boy in today's world. Most of the males I know are 35. Sorry, Stephen. They're not quite. They're still teenagers at 35 years old. We've stopped mature. Males stop maturing. Now you got 35 or 40 is the new. 16.
I resemble that statement.
I know you do. Just really.
Well,
I'm 34, but
yeah. Sorry.
Oh, talk over him. He doesn't even know what he's saying. The drugs, the cookies have kicked in.
More than addressing the age, although that is addressed in the book, more than that, I think a stronger element is the right to choose who you marry, because the royalty did not have a choice.
Wow.
All the boys and the girls who were children of the king were seen as pawns. You will marry who I tell you to marry for political reasons. You will either, if I don't want you to marry when you're 4 or 5, I will have you sent to an abbey and tonsured or take the veil at that age. And you will be raised to be an abbot or a abbess.
Abbot!
What about a Costello?
So that particular issue continued through my time. Prince Charles basically married Diana Spencer at his parents'
It didn't work out,
insistence.
though.
He did not want to marry her.
No, he wanted Cruella. He wanted Cruella de Vil.
Before my time, who gave up his kingdom because he wanted to marry a divorcee. And that's how Queen Elizabeth became queen, because it was her uncle who abdicated.
Wow.
Because
I thought
he
he
did not want to marry. So, and even the princess of Japan about 3 years ago left Japan and moved to America so she could marry her sweetheart and not be forced to marry who she was, her family, because her sweetheart was a commoner. And
I don't like being called a commoner. I really don't like being called a commoner.
I think, and is they're living somewhere on the East Coast.
Wow. Couple more questions because we are running out of time here. Again, my marketing bent is on display here. But is this book, is it self-published or was it traditional publisher?
Self-published.
Because the cover, I would think that, again, thinking about the demographic, the cover would appeal to ladies. If a lady sees this in Amazon or sees it in a bookstore, she's going to pick it up. Most guys, and the historical aspect is very attractive to male readers, but they would not have any idea that this is really, it doesn't look, it will feel like a book that a man would be interested in. I would think, well, my wife is going to pick that up.
I don't know. The font kind of reminds me a little bit of both Lord of the Rings and what was that HBO one?
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, yeah, the one with all the full frontal nudity. That one, yeah.
And there's
but yeah,
it's relationship to that.
Yeah, it's reminiscent of that. So I feel like if a man was a fan of any of those, I feel like if they looked at this, they might at least pick it up and read the back cover.
Well, if you know,
and also a very popular book with men was the series Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Okay,
that was a very popular one. Yeah,
if we ever meet any men, we should ask them their opinion on it.
Okay, all right, okay.
If you look at the crown, you can see the reflection of the crown. And also, I just wanted the crown to represent, on one side, we look at royalty, we see the beauty, we see the elegance, we see all the perks. But it's a very weighty responsibility. And every single person who wears the crown, and there are a lot of them in this book, you can see both.
All right.
Now, is this crown, is the illustration of this crown an accurate representation of what the crown would have been like? Because, and looking at the art,
necessarily,
and researching this, there's like 19 different crowns, renditions of crowns that people are wearing, and some of them don't even look like crowns. They look like headbands that you wear to a gym with sticks sticking out of it.
I got them at Burger King.
Yeah. Remember, they don't even look as sturdy as the Burger King crowns.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wait, I have one somewhere.
This one seemed to be the most impactful. As you said, a woman will look at this and say, that looks like an interesting book.
Yeah. And that looks like I want to wear that crown.
It's important. And it is a woman's book. If you're looking for one that shows empowerment and a female heroine, you've got a strong male heroine in there as well. And they're both the third part of the book. They join forces and they take on the empire.
All right. My phone salesman just arrived with his dopey little hat on. I have one more question. Then this has nothing to do with the book, or maybe it does, because in the research for the book, do you find that the 9th century is again enshrouded in mystery to me? I've never read anything about the 9th century, but in Europe, do you find any parallels or any kind of similarities between the Europe of the 9th century and what we're seeing going on politically and
yes,
in those realms with Europe today?
I was shocked. At one point, Archbishop Hincmar says to King Charles, he says, our empire has like 5 different threats coming at us, and they come at us one at a time. We've got Vikings, we've got the rebel lords of Aquitaine, we've got Robert the Strong, we've got Salomon who has taken over Brittany. We've got your brother, King Louis the German, who's wants to invade your country. We have strategies for dealing with all of these. What is our strategy if everybody attacks at once? And
brown pants.
In our country, we have Chinese who don't like us very much. We've got Russians who don't like us very much. We've got Iranians who don't like us very much. We've got drug cartels to our south. You can easily pick out 5, if not more.
Right.
And what happens, in the book, it took a miracle, and they even called it the Miracle War, a miracle to save the country when all 5 things did happen.
So they called Miracle Max. They called Billy Crystal, and yeah.
You'll have to read it to find out.
Yeah,
in our country, you have to wonder if everybody attacked everything at once.
I think we're going to find out.
Would it take a miracle to save us?
I think
when they attack, we send the chicken nuggies.
Listen, not to get crazy here,
you're in the wrong. You've got Burger King there. Yeah. You got to send the Whoppers.
We're always sending Whoppers. Let me tell you that right now.
But we have a president who tells them.
We may be in danger of finding out what it's like to be fighting a lot of people at once. We're going to be fighting in the Middle East. We're going to be having to deal with Russia. China is said they're ready for war. We're going to pick fights with Canada and Mexico. So that's going on here, not so much in Europe too, but it's closer to home than Europe for us. So. Well, good luck with the book, and thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. This is I guess I have to do my homework on 9th century history. That's what this has taught me.
Women's History Month. Read a good book about a woman in history you didn't know about before.
Right. Generally, strong women intimidate me. So, but
he has no manhood.
I doubt that very much.
Our guest this morning has been D.H. Morris. I've been fortunate enough to call her by her first name, Deborah. I don't know what the H stands for. You'll have to buy the book to find out. Anyway, thank you, Deborah, for being on the program.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day. Thanks for now.
You too.
Bye. All right. The book was in front of my face there. Wow. So, GD, you say you know a little bit about everything. You have studied the 9th century history.
Well, but I did, but I didn't do it back then. I didn't do it in real time. I actually waited until like the 20th and 21st centuries to do it.
Falmouth has an MA in history.
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious. I wanted to put that comment up. I wanted to wait until she was gone to do it. I thought that was hilarious.
It's the only one who keeps bringing up old shit, but she's not bringing up 9th century stuff. I mean, that would be.
She might be.
It all depends. She might be.
I told you to clean the toilet. The 9th century had the Black Plague for a reason. There was shit everywhere. Go clean the toilet.
See, that's what I don't know. I mean, the 9th century was way before the bubonic plague, right? Or
probably. Yeah, I was just picking things out of the air.
Yeah.
I know you were.
I'm a Burger King. I can do what I want.
Hat on. You got a stupid hat on and you're stoned on cookies and energy drinks. I understand this, but I feel really ignorant about the 9th century. It doesn't even exist in my mind. You have the Middle Ages and then beyond. We don't have it. Yeah, I got Christ 2,000 years ago, and then you have this big gap, and then all of a sudden you got
Earth is only 6,000 years old, Matt. It can't be that far back.
I'm only thinking 2,000 years. What are you talking about? 6,000 years? Wow, I missed part of it. Wait, there was.
I feel like that's a few billion years short, but whatever.
Yeah. And the 12-year-old stuff. I mean, that is so weird. Just again.
Well, I mean, you got to remember back then that was middle age, 12 years old.
That was pretty old, right? But still,
yeah, because people were dying in like mid-20s to 30s usually, right?
It's still a child, though, right? It's a child, and I don't know.
Until she turns 15, then she's a rebellious teenager. That's what. See, that's what. See, the people. I think that's the one flaw in her premise is that she was talking about how she became a young lady and stood up for herself. It's like, no, she became the typical rebellious teen at age 15.
If I remember from history class in high school, 12 years old was around. Before that, it was based on like when they would start their menstrual cycle is when they were considered a woman.
Honestly, that's what I'm thinking. It's like you
12 years old are right around there.
Yet at 12, right?
12's right around there. I mean, my my daughter had hers at 12. My ex-wife said she had hers at 9.
When did you?
I haven't had my first period yet, but I'm sure it's close.
I had my first period when I started school, and then we took nap around second period.
Right, and that was after homeroom, though, right?
Would nap around a period, you nasty.
No, Matt, I'm asking you this, not Steven. This isn't relevant to Steven. When you were in school, did you have kids that ate paste?
You still had that in school when I was in school. What are you talking about?
I didn't go to school. I really didn't go to school. I stopped.
I'm talking about preschool, not preschool. I'm like elementary school, like first and second. When you still had paste and you're either making wheat paste or you actually had the regular paste that was, I don't even know why it was edible, but I had kids in my class who ate that stuff. I didn't eat it,
In second grade, yeah, there was a kid who got sick eating paste. I can still see him throwing up, but I can't remember his name. But it's in my mind. Yeah, and that was the first time I ever saw anybody throw up. I was like, oh, and then the whole class started throwing up because it smelled.
Well, I'm surprising that. I'm sorry. I'm not saying that you were an ugly child, but I'm surprised that people who saw you weren't already throwing up. So I'm just surprised it took that long for you to actually see the vomit.
Keep the laugh going. While we bring up the next guy, this next comic is you're really gonna love this guy. He's got a lot of paste jokes.
Can we just bring the Rev back instead?
Pasties.
I had fun with the Rev yesterday. It was a good time.
You did.
I want to mention something. There's a comedian had reached out to me. They were trying to promote something, and so it was a comedian who's I'm familiar with. I've done like tons of open mics with him, and he's asked everybody in his circles to be on his show except for me. Never wanted me on their shows. So he reached out to me to promote a show. So what I did was I said, well, you can come on call. I sent him the links to Coffee with the Dog, /booking.com, and also Done Way Past Funny. And so he accepted the Done Way Past Funny. He said he looked into Coffee with the Dog. And then he finally admits he didn't mean to send me the text. Somehow it was supposed to be a group text, and he wasn't supposed to be letting me know about this event. It was a group text, but he still wants to be on the show. So, wow. and to be honest, I understand why a lot of the people don't want to be on shows with me. I do. So, no.
Why would that be, do you think?
Do I think or do I know? There's a difference.
Well, all right, you could say no instead of think. Why do you know? Why don't they want to be on the show with you?
Mainly because they know that when I bring my A game, it's way better than what they've got.
Ooh, a little cocky.
No, it's not cocky. It's not cocky. It's not cocky. It's just you can also tell by their reactions when they some of the I've done showcases with some of them. I'm distinguishing between showcases, and open mics. You know, shows are.
Let me just say, when Kevin Hart said, "No, I don't want to be on the show with that guy," you think it's because you were too good for him?
I am too good for him. It's not me. Again, it's not me thinking that. I am too good for him.
I'm saying whoa. You hear me saying whoa? Whoa.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's not more popular or more wealthy. He is all those things.
Whoa.
It's even possible. It's even possible that he's more talented than me.
Whoa.
But you don't see that by his work. You don't see his talent in his work. You don't.
Whoa. I'm just saying whoa. That's all.
Okay.
I don't know. I did a show with you, and I'd do another show with you. You weren't insufferable or anything.
Yeah, but you're not one of the people who's in the area.
Also, you're very stupid.
No. Like for example, there are people who show like like the people that are in the same common circles, like the same open mic scenes and stuff like that.
You mean the cliques?
Yeah, the cliques. And that's the other thing. I won't belong to a clique. As soon as you want me in your clique, I start to reject you because.
Well, see,
all right,
now I have to hold on. I have a critique on that because here's the thing. I also do not become part of the cliques, but
the clique becomes part of you.
No, but I also have a good reputation within all of those said cliques. Like I don't.
Oh, I'm sorry to disagree with you. You don't have a good reputation anyway.
I've had
your name and people say, "What bail money?" That's the first.
Yeah. Okay. Why do you reject them? I mean, that's if you know you have to circumnavigate all that bullshit anyway to get on stage, why not create a friendly relationship with?
No, I'm not rude to people. As a matter of fact, I'll give you a perfect example. There was a struggling mic, struggling open mic.
Circumcised navigate or something.
There are struggling open mics. I will lend my credibility to those microphones, to the open mics. I will show up. I will take pictures. I will promote them. And so there was an open mic that was struggling. They were still using like a little speaker about this big. And so I came in, I brought in my PA system. I let them use my PA system. And there was one particular comedian, whenever I took the stage, him and his friends would get up and leave. And they wouldn't, and as soon as I got off the stage, they'd come back.
I got it. I'm sorry. Lothar, the We People, Mike Myers on Saturday Night Live. I am Lothar of the We People. You didn't catch. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm impressed that you got that before your 4:00 Constitution. You actually got that before the show ended.
I know.
Well, I know he usually texts us when he's on the shitter too. That's when you know he's shitting because we'll start getting messages from him.
Yeah. I got Lothar. That's so. When she said Lothar, that's why I giggled, but I didn't know why I was giggling. She said Lothar.
So it's like a reflex. It's like a kid reflex. It's like I know that's funny from somewhere.
Lothar of the We People. Yeah. All right. Wherever we knock this fucking thing off. You got gigs this weekend? You're doing nothing? You're just watching each other jerk off? What are you doing?
No, I'm enjoying hopefully my last weekend unemployed.
Wow, enjoying.
No, my next thing is on the 21st. As a matter of fact, I'm going to miss the show on the 21st. So I'll probably can hear it because I'll be driving. But
21st of March. That's a Friday.
Yeah, I'll miss that. I will be driving because I'm going to be driving probably around 7 because it's in North Carolina.
I guess I should. We only have one more week to go. I should start promoting this podcast-a-thon thing and build some kind of bucket for the American Cancer Society, so people could actually give. Maybe I could just link directly to their page. Right?
You go ahead. I still never heard anything back from, so I don't think the Reverend show is going to be on there. So if it's like I said, if it's not on, they let me schedule
you're
it.
Not in their clique. You should have circumcised navigation. Whatever. Steve
No. Also, I'm not gigging this weekend, but Monday, Chris Tyson on Beyond Classified with Stephen Ortiz right here on Mind Dog TV.
No,
and
I don't.
Ian says I look like a ghost of comics past. I don't know if that's a compliment or not, but
Ian
I'm
said that. Hey?
Yeah, I'm just going to assume it's a compliment because Ian would never say anything mean about me.
Ian's been ghosting us recently. It hurts I heard because I feel like Ian is the fifth Beatle here. And like, what are the Beatles doing here?
I thought Carl was the fifth Beatle.
Oh, I forgot about Carl.
See how quickly. Wait a minute. No, I thought Robert Taylor was the fifth Beatle. Wait, no, I thought, I don't know this about me.
He wasn't even a real Beatle.
I don't know. I guess I should reach out to Robert and say, well, did I do something to hurt you? Are you mad at me? What? Because he doesn't even respond when I comment on.
Okay, Ian is the fifth Beatle and Carl is Yoko.
That is true. Carl is like Yoko in a lot of ways. He painted "yes" on his ceiling in a really small letter, so you had to climb up a ladder and say, "What the fuck is that?" So I got you know.
She was talking about calling Robert or reaching out to Robert to find out what you did wrong to hurt his feelings.
Yeah. What did I do wrong to hurt his feelings? I think I brought you on the show, and he's like, I think he called me an N-lover now.
Whoa, that better not be true.
I don't
you
even
like nachos. How you like nachos?
No. Yeah, what kind of freak of nature loves nachos?
Not me. Not me.
Especially Taco Bell. That ain't even real nachos.
I'm a Nacho Libre fan.
You know, the first nacho. Here's the first nacho I think I ever had was from Jack in the Box. I think they were the first nachos.
You jacked off in a box?
Every time Deborah said consecrated, she was a consecrated queen. I thought it sounded to me like constipated. And like I did not know because I could be king.
That's because you're a 65-year-old teenager.
When you talk about constipated, I should be king of the world then, right? Constipated. This is why I drink coffee with Good Brew in it. Coffee's a Good Brew sponsor, by the way. You just dump a lot of that stuff in, or you could snort it off a hooker's ass like I do. Whatever. I constipated. She was never constipated.
Son of a bitch.
What happens with you?
Dude, my computer is ass.
He touched something.
You blame it on the computer, but I'm blaming it on the cookies and the energy drink.
No, this has been happening nonstop for days.
And so
apparently it has been happening nonstop because we had most of the show.
That's a good angle for you because you don't look so ugly. See now you look ugly.
Frontal.
This angle weird. I don't like this.
If I were Al Green, and when they escorted me out of the House chambers, I would have turned to Trump and I would have done this.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, they're throwing you out anyway, and you know you're going to be censured. So I would have just turned to Trump and I've gone, and then walked out.
Yeah, he kind of was escorted out like a puss. I would have went out fighting.
Well, the man is a cripple. He's on a cane.
Come on, dude. Not even. That's not an excuse. You know how many bars I've been thrown out of because this cripple put people through tables? That's a bullshit excuse. No, you go retard strong and you take some people down with you. That's what you do.
No,
you don't get drug out being like,
white cripples do.
You don't
That's
have
what
any
white
dignity.
cripples do. Black cripples get the shit beat out of them by 5 or 6 security guards.
No, this white cripple has also gotten his ass beat a few times. So I'm not saying I win every fight. I get my ass beat.
So you haven't learned your lesson. Al Green must have learned his lesson because he's, old black guy with straight hair. I know he's got his ass kicked quite a bit.
I've learned my lesson. I don't fight anymore.
Why didn't he just go out singing "Let's Stay Together"?
Well, I think some people started singing "We Shall Overcome." No, actually, it was
That's not
I'm
the
just
right
teasing.
song.
The Republicans started singing "Na na na na, hey hey goodbye."
Na 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 na.
Yeah.
Seriously, there's a lot of reaction to this whole thing. Right? People saying the Democrats should have stuck up for him because he was actually taking a very populist stance on this stuff and a very progressive stance. But the Democrats caved, and 10 of them voted with the Republicans to check him out. Right?
Well, because it was a procedural thing. It was a procedural thing
because he was rude. But
right.
In this day and age, all decorum has been ripped apart, shredded, and
look, but there's some people who still believe in their hearts in the rules of Congress, and they're like, yeah, I understand what he did and why he did it, and I agree with him. But it's like when the police came for my brother. Not that I don't.
A lot of that comes.
I understand what you're saying, but
I
thought here.
I'm sorry.
That the Democrats need to be embracing the rules and norms and decorum and all that stuff. And then the other people say, no, the rules have been thrown out. We need to learn to play dirty or we'll never win again. And
they probably had the meeting with Hakeem Jeffries and with Al Green. They probably said, look, they have them, we know that they're going to vote unanimously to censure you. So what's going to be good for these people? Because sometimes the votes are really about their districts that they're in as well. What they have to portray to those districts. He was going to get censured anyway. That's but once they did it, a lot of them joined him, on stage as a show of solidarity.
Nobody ever did it with. Remember Marjorie Taylor Greene and Boba the blowjob queen over there? You just acting like kids, just yelling shit at Biden and stuff. I mean, that was far worse than what let's stay together, Al Green. What did he have another hit? Al Green?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He had lots of hits.
What was his? Never mind. It doesn't matter. But they, what?
I think we had a song called "Hot Grits to My Face." My wife threw hot grits on my face.
Ooh.
That's just history. That's
probably
just
didn't
history.
get a lot of radio airplay with that. That was before Wet Ass Pussy was like a hit.
Yeah, hot grits to my face. That was a matter of fact, because Crack the Sky did a remake called "Hot Razors in My Heart," but the original was Al Green's "Hot Grits to My Face."
Wow. All right. This is the way you're going to leave this.
No.
This is. By the
somebody
way,
somebody said that with my Burger King crown on, I look like the guy on the plane that screamed the N-word.
Okay, I pulled up a list. Al Green, "How Can You Mend a Broken Heart?"
That was a Bee Gees song, right?
Yeah, it's an Al Green hit. I'm not saying that he didn't remake it, or I'm just saying
that guy says.
And then For the Good Times, you already know.
That was.
You already know. Let's Stay Together. Everything's going to be all right. Love and Happiness.
All these are
Funny How Time Slips Away.
Marley.
Tired of Being Alone. Simply Beautiful. Here I Am, baby. And I'm Still in Love with You.
I don't think any of those were his songs, but that's fine. He remade them. And if he had hits with him, he had hits with him. I don't want to take his hits away from him. Like I want to take Steven's hits away from him. This could be, for all we know, Steven's last regular appearance on the show. He might be going back to cleaning toilets and I don't know, glory hole work. Start Monday. We'll see. I guess you'll have to tune in Monday to find out, won't you?
What happens?
Right. Well, you'll be missed again if my aim is off.
Well, I will be back when I can, as much as I can, and Beyond Classified isn't going anywhere. And yeah.
On that note, I just want to say I put a little thing on for other people because I think there is strength in numbers, and I want to open the doors to anybody out there who might be listening. Who, if you want to start a podcast, don't know how to begin, you can have a podcast. You can have a show on the Mind Dog TV network, as long as you pick a slot that nobody else is using. And right now we only have four different shows. We have Mind Dog TV, a digital broadcast, which is Wednesday night at 8 p.m. We have Beyond Classified, which is Monday night at 9 p.m. And we have a little show called The Church of Last Resort, which is Sunday morning at 9 a.m., which I doubt anybody would want anyway. Like, who would want? Who would want it? What kind of crazy person would want to get up at 9 a.m. on Sunday?
Well, I'm gonna tell you now. Well, I think now I could be wrong, but I think the Blind Mike Project does live streaming at the exact same time at 9 o'clock.
I mean, only a blind.
Fuck that guy. Fuck Blind Mike and Gangrene Greg.
Might be a good guy. I don't know. I think he might be a good guy.
I don't know the answer to that because I've reached out to him. He's never gotten back to me. Now, also, what's his face? Tom Myers. After the show is over, he goes. He says, if you want, I'll get you, I'll send him your contact and you can get on his show. That's for sure. I've already reached out to him, so don't be surprised if he doesn't want to do it. And
even on the wait, hold on a second, because even on that clip you sent me, Tom Myers is saying, I could hook you up with Blind Mike if you want. And then Blind Mike says, hell yeah, let's do it. So he says that in response to Tom Mike, and Tom could hook me up with Blind Mike, and I didn't even know anything about Blind Mike at that point.
It hasn't. And I told Tom that he will probably say that, but he's not going to follow up. He's not going to do it. I will never get
because you're too good for them, right?
I don't know that. No, it's not that. It's just that I called them that their premise of their attack of me was flawed, seriously flawed.
I don't think they attacked you,
huh?
I don't think they attacked you. I didn't hear any attack of you.
They did 2 hours of attacking me.
On that clip that you sent me.
No, not on that clip. No, you'd have to go back and into the archives.
Because I thought they were saying positive things about you in the clip that you sent me, and I was like, "Well, where's the? I don't see any negativity."
I didn't. I don't know if they say anything. No, I don't know if they say anything positive about me. I don't know. I just remember them saying something like, I looked angry or like I'm not haven't forgiven or some shit like that. I don't know.
You are an angry uppity black man. You know that.
Well,
don't deny it.
It's like it's not that I'm uppity.
I'm bald and I got a doofy old mustache.
It's not that I'm uppity. It's just that I'm superior, and so people have to look up to me.
Whoa!
So it's not that I'm uppity.
You're just taller than me. That's the only reason I have to look up.
It's just perspective. It's all it is perspective. I'm not uppity. I'm just
saying I'm old. People keep saying I'm old. That's unfair.
I don't know if you know this about Matt, but
I didn't know this about me, but
I didn't know this about me, but I like my dad's dick in my mouth. What?
I didn't know this about me, but I talk about my mom a lot.
And considering my dad's been dead for 50 years, his dick is starting to taste a little stale.
A little chewy. It's getting a little wormy.
When I had him cremated, I had his dick done separately and put in a smaller jar to put next to my bed.
I'm not sure this is the kind of show D.H. Morris wanted to be associated with. The link to her book is in the description if you were so inclined. The Girl with Many Crowns.
And this is not a dental. This is not a story about dentistry in 9th century England.
If you
get her book,
you might get some dental students that just running out to get the book anyway, and then find out.
I want to know about 9th century dentistry.
If you get her book, you'll get 2 gift certificates
to Minucci's,
and they will actually charge you $9.95 when you get there for half-empty buckets. So go check it out.
I got offered a job yesterday at the Glory Hole. No, not at the Glory Hole. It's a very interesting job. It's entertaining, singing and playing guitar.
Give me your best and hardest.
That's what I pictured.
I thought Ron laughed. But it's a gig. Stephen would die for this gig. He would die. He would suck my dick on in Macy's window.
Talk about exhilarating.
That's what I call schlong division.
So we're all going to be working, and I'm not going to. It'll be GD doing the show here by himself, which I think
Which means a lot of people aren't going to get logged into because I'm not going to be able to keep track of everybody that. It's like
right. Yeah.
Now, Now, I do that just so you know, because I don't want Steven to snitch on me, so I'm going to tell him myself. When we did Exit, we didn't play your song to go out. We played one of mine, and that's mainly because I couldn't find a Crack the Sky video.
Why do you got to assume that I would snitch? I'm not a snitch.
I'm sorry, did I say snitch? I didn't mean to say snitch. I meant bitch. That's no.
Okay. Wow.
What song
What a farewell. Hey, last time on the show, possibly. You're a bitch. Have a nice life. Wow.
You didn't say cunt.
My wife will not let me forget that.
What song was it, and how badly out of tune was it, and how bad did you fuck it up?
I don't remember what song it was. I think it was a song called "I Blame You," and it was from my CD from 1996. But I have because I don't have any footage of the band back then.
You fucked it up too. I remember that. You didn't get any of the chords right in your own song.
I didn't get any of the 2 chords right.
Right. All right. I guess that's a week for you. This is wrapping up a week. We'll try again next week if I'm still alive without Steven. Now, so you know what? I can change the layout to a 3 layout and get. Fuck yeah!
Well, like I said, I will still be here when I can, and you know,
it makes you think you're welcome. Once you leave us, you're not welcome anymore.
Oh, hey, we're going to take your credentials and sell them to the highest bidder.
It's possible. Listen, don't be surprised if I end up giving your seat away to somebody who. But I'll try not to do that.
Like Billy Joe.
I mean, if I can't be here full time, that makes sense. Yeah.
Actually, you know who really wanted his seat?
Tim Laws.
Kylie Weathers. Kylie Weather, the psychiatrist type of life coach woman.
I don't remember. Dementia. No, I don't remember that person. Psychiatrist.
Well, she wasn't a psychiatrist, but she was like a self-help.
Oh, it's a she.
Yeah.
Oh, we want a she. We definitely want some female energy on this.
Yes. She had the what was it called? Queerly attached. Was her website?
That rings a bell, only because queerly sticks in my mind.
Yeah, but Stephen, don't worry. We're not looking to replace you. We just will replace you.
Well, in the event that I'm not back Monday, I appreciate you guys, and it's been fun.
No, in the event you're not back on Monday, we're good riddance and get the fuck out.
That's fair. We love good riddance to bad garbage.
And for people listening, free phones from that. All you have to do is write to Steven. You get a free phone forever. Free phones, free service, all that kind of stuff. Steven is your guy.
But Steven, don't worry. We'll work together because I'm working out something with Slaptail to coming up to Michigan. And
once I get a vehicle, I will, and I don't really have a family holding me back here. So once I get a vehicle, I'll be traveling and doing more comedy. So people will be seeing me around.
What are you going to walk to Michigan? What are you once I get a vehicle? Stop ringing, you dopey phone. Thank you. Wow, it did it on its own.
Hi, do you have a dopey phone? Talk to Steven Ortiz. He will upgrade your operating system. He will upgrade your operating system so that your phone is no longer dopey, but will be smart. He'll get you.
Well, speaking of that, I do have another interview I have to jump over to. So,
all right, send me a phone. All right, don't forget to turn on your radio. Bye for now.
Fuck yeah!
Oh, hello, kiddies.
Turn on the radio.
Oh,
Listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me.